pain follow me. Deal with trauma privately. I don't wanna be a burden, I handle things defiantly. Spent a decade searching for a higher power guiding me. Figured out that fate.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the news that fits, I'm losing shit. A stupid myth, you choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
Yeah. There's no mercy in this world, just hunger-thirsty persons in different versions. Each new update, that shit worsens. Why? Pull back the curtain and you'll see the different vermin. We all have different burdens that all seem to cause disturbance. Yo, do me a favor, don't treat me like a neighbor. Don't need the different flavors of your problems just to savor. I've got my own issues, I need a comb to get through. Don't need to groan with you, just go get your own tissue.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the news that fits, I'm losing shit. A stupid myth, you choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
Yeah. There's no mercy in this world, just hunger-thirsty persons in different versions. Each new update, that shit worsens. Why? Pull back the curtain and you'll see the different vermin. We all have different burdens that all seem to cause disturbance. Yo, do me a favor, don't treat me like a neighbor. Don't need the different flavors of your problems just to savor. I've got my own issues, I need a comb to get through. Don't need to groan with you, just go get your own tissue.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Black Man Unfiltered's The Barbershop. Yes, indeed, we are one more time back in the church. What's happening, y'all? I'm going to go ahead and start bringing the fellas up one by one. The first person I'm going to bring up is the one and only Trey Ferg. Trey Ferg, what's happening, man? You on mute, brother?
What's up, brother? Happy Friday, man.
How goes it, man? How are you today?
Oh, man, it's a blessed day, man, for real. We got a little snow where I'm at.
Indeed, indeed.
Appreciate it.
So you ready. You ready. The next person I'm going to bring up will be the one and only, the chairman, the brother of the B, and probably some more B's. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mr. Bennett. Mr. Bennett, how are you today, sir?
I am doing well. Good evening, everyone. Shout out to the 7B Network. Good to be here with you guys on this Friday evening.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. The next person we're going to bring up is one and only from the known as the continent. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the one and only R. Payne. Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, Mr. R. Payne, I see you, sir, with that beard coming in, sir. All right now.
I'm trying, man. You know.
All right now. All right
we'll
now.
see. We'll see if it gets too scraggly. I'm gonna take it off. But right now, I gotta go through the rough period.
Yeah. How was your week today, sir?
It was great, man. I can't complain. You know, can't complain.
Good. That's what's up. And I want to bring up another gentleman. Y'all know him as Mr. Don't Want to Fold No Clothes. You know what I'm saying? He also got his own. He got his own song. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring him up right after.
I can't help it that I'm custom made. I can't help it that I look good, smell good, can't dance all night long. I can't help it. Stupid.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the one and only Trey in the building.
What's up,
That's
y'all?
good, sir. Number one.
What's happening, man? Yeah, this man got his own intro.
What's good with y'all, man?
What's
Doing
happening,
good,
man? How goes it, brother? How are you?
I can't complain, man. Another beautiful week. Happy to see the fellas, man. Let's chop it up a little bit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we also got the one and only Mr. Museum himself. Let's put your hands together for the one and only JT in the building from the What We Know podcast. What up, JT? JT done ran off to the bathroom, of course.
And he said, baby, you just got friendly pussy.
Going to Dingaling museums. Yes.
Yes, indeed. And we also got the chairman of the board himself, Mr. Black Man Unfiltered. I know he probably still hooking up his stuff, but we still gonna bring him on in here like you know how to bring him in here. Yes, sir. BMU, what's happening, man? You got that the mute monster got you, bro?
Yeah, it got me, Doc. It got me. What it is and what it will be, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to see my brothers on the panel tonight, man. This is a good conversation tonight. I can't wait to have it because today I've been in an all battle with these ladies in my chats, talking about me so bad that said that all kind of things. We want to get into it tonight. I'm gonna read some of it to you guys tonight, so it's good to see you. And the people in the chat, I see Embrace the Grace, Blaze. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Listen, guys, thank you for being here. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that share button. You want to share with some family so they can get some laughter and some education while they watch this platform. And if you want to give, please do. I don't know who's going to sponsor the show tonight, but somebody need to and somebody will, I believe. But anyway, hit that Cash App and scroll at the bottom of the screen. Bam! Right now, and I appreciate you guys moving forward. We already know how everybody's doing on the live tonight. We do have JT in the building right now, so you know JT
Going to Dingaling museums. Yes.
And he said, baby, you just got friendly pussy.
I love it. So it's good to have all my brothers, man. It's good to have y'all here tonight. Let's get everybody. All right, here we go. All right, now we working. So, guys, you know, I just want to have the conversation with my brothers tonight, man. Today, I had a lot of women saying, "Black Man Unfiltered, he's a woman basher." One person particularly told me, Trey, when I come out the closet, they're gonna support me 100%. Because ain't no way that I can say these things about women and be a straight man. And so I definitely want to put that out.
Perfect logic, Ian. Perfect logic.
Oh, absolutely. Let me put this link in. It's going to be first come, first serve when you come up. First come, first serve. So I'm going to put it in here. If you don't get in, don't be telling me you can't get in here because I already told you it's first come, first serve. I think we got room for, let's see, 5, 6, 7, 3. All right, here we go. Links in the chat. If you want to come up, make sure you turn your camera on. Don't be driving your car getting head from a prostitute. All right. So I thought I'd just throw that in there. I knew somebody was gonna catch it. Ladies and gentlemen, before we bring him up, I just want to say this right here. This is a guy that's on the channel as well, and he
the fuck up.
Grooming and Reviews is in the building tonight. What's going on, my guy?
It's Sparta!
Oh, Jesus.
Also, we got Driving Miss Daisy in the building tonight. Give it up for Ikene.
Oh, man.
That message was for you. Driving. He'll be out there driving.
Hey, man, I can't. I really feel good that Ikene's up here, so y'all can stop saying I'm taking all the time. You know.
Now, hold on. Now, you be quiet up there because we hadn't forgot about you.
Are you out of your fucking mind? Are you crazy? One of the toughest things any man has ever done is turn down a nice piece of willing, steaming ass piece of pussy.
Give it up for Chocolate Drop.
Chocolate Drop in the building.
Don't make me laugh because I'm pissed off right now.
I need to get a beer, Mr. Payne. I'm growing mine out.
I ain't getting grizzled.
I'm waiting on Mr. Bennett.
I told my wife, right? You know, she's gonna get some benefits from it. So
tried that years ago. It just won't come in.
Pain.
I'm follically free oil, but even my eyebrows fell out. So I have no hair on my head whatsoever.
You need a good beer oil, first of all. Cut back on the itching. You hydrate the skin. Second, you need a good beer wash.
Okay.
Those are two things you need to start with.
Let me get a bid first. Let me see what
we're going to do.
You know what Andre said? Andre reminded us of something in the chat. We didn't give the rules of the barbershop. And we must give the rules of the barbershop now.
Wait. Hold on here. Is it the barbershop? Is it the barbershop? Yes, it is. It's the barbershop. Yes. I mean, we can't talk straight in the barbershop. Then where can we talk straight? We can't talk straight nowhere else. You know, this ain't nothing but healthy conversation. That's all. You got to tell who to talk down. It ain't nobody exempt in the barbershop. You know that. Ain't nobody exempt. You can talk about whoever and whatever, whenever you want to in the barbershop.
And those are facts. Facts.
All right. Since Grooming and Reviews, how are you? Ikene, I saw you bought 12 goats today, so we'll talk about that in a minute. Who else came in? Oh, yeah. So Grooming and Reviews and Ikene, we'll start with Ikene first. Ikene, how are you doing tonight, sir?
I am doing well, doing great. But it's a good day, good, beautiful weekend, can't complain. Beautiful weekdays, can't complain. And we thank God for everything. I'm doing okay. Hey, Trey, why are you having a hoodie on?
He said, why you got your booty on?
Yeah, that's good. No, why does he have his hoodie? Hoodie, not booty. Hoodie.
Hoodie.
Oh, I thought he said
booty.
I heard booty, but okay.
Got a hoodie and a blowfish on.
The hoodie booty.
All right.
Yeah.
Grooming and Reviews, how are you doing tonight, Mr. Sparta?
Honestly, I'm fucking pissed.
That sounds nice. Sounds beautiful.
Yeah. Did you see my text I sent you?
You did. I saw it.
I got some more information on that, and it's gonna buckle your fucking minds.
Okay.
You want me to share?
Right. Can't wait to hear that.
Not yet. No, hold your mute while you shout.
There is a pop-up that does come up and asks you if you want to, pay for this or not. So,
whoa, it's something popping up and you want to pay for it. Who is that?
Who watching OnlyFans?
Who watching OnlyFans?
And I told you, keep it in the private rooms.
Stop it.
That was our paying ass, wasn't it? I knew.
Our paying got a new stripping service. He come out on the stage naked and he put his clothes on while he's on stage.
Our Payne say he don't care if it's black or gray, he'll lick it every day.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
All right.
Y'all know it's Friday.
Trey, come back, Trey. All right, man. So, okay, let's jump into this conversation, man. Listen, man. What are you guys' mindset on the fact that what do you think about men holding women accountable? Grooming reviews. What do you think about men holding women accountable? Is that our job to do that? That's the first question of the night. Is it our job?
If that's my woman, yeah, I'll keep her ass accountable. Like she keeps me in check. I have to pay the bills and everything. You better get your ass doing, the laundry, make sure the house is clean, dinner's on the table when I get home. Yeah. I'm not saying exactly like that, but you get what I'm going with this.
Yes, you are.
I have to have responsibilities, you have responsibilities too.
Okay. Art Payne.
Yes,
Is
sir.
it a man's job, Art Payne, to hold women accountable?
It's our job to hold our woman, our personal woman, accountable.
Okay.
But as far as the rest of the ladies, my philosophy is find other women who can get the message out that I want and let them hold women accountable. I'm tired of talking to fucking women about what they need to do. If they ain't my woman, I don't give a shit no more. Right. So that's why I got a whole series of Let the Women Tell It. Just let the women tell them. And I think they'll listen. They'll be more receptive to hearing shit from a woman than a man. Not that we shouldn't say it, but I'm tired of arguing with fucking women about stuff.
Okay. Mr. Bennett?
I'm kind of similar to that. I mean, the only way accountability works is based on the relationship you have with that person. So either you have a position of authority over that person, or there's a certain level of respect or reverence for that person. So the only ones I really have that with are the ones that are most closest to me. We were just chatting it up before we got on tonight between myself, R. Payne, and JT. We got 7 daughters, and add the wives. That's 9 women. Add the moms on top of that. That's probably about a dozen women that we have any kind of influence over. So we're just certainly grateful that we still have some influence over them, that we can be help them navigate life and keep them out of harm's way. But as far as for everyone else out there, unless you have a relationship that you can leverage to hold people accountable, you really can't. Just like I can't hold a person, I can't hold a client. I train people. I can't hold anybody accountable unless they submit to the training and say, yeah, they're going to show up on time and do the work that I asked them to do. But other than that, I can't hold people accountable. So generally, I think a lot of effort's been put into the space trying to do that for the women globally. But ultimately, it's the women that are going to have to take that on. And hopefully the women that we're raising, hopefully they'll be the example, the salt and light that's needed out
there. What about you, Ikane?
I got to ask a question. What's your definition of holding women accountable? What is your definition of accountability on women? Please, can you define it for me, please?
I want to know. Well, anyone. I personally, we could talk about it after you answer.
Okay. Let me put it this way, right?
No.
Go ahead. Go ahead, please. Please go ahead.
I think it's men. I think personally, I think men. The accountability is any woman that seems to be out of line. I think men should have the authority to correct it. I think that. I think that you should have the ability to correct it, because I think, and the biggest reason for that is because I'll go ahead and go right before you go. The biggest reason is because of influence. Influence is horrible. India Ari was R&B singer. She was never known for throwing her ass out of twerking on stage or nothing. But India Ari held Megan Thee Stallion accountable, and when she did so, she said, Megan, you knew this was you didn't tell these people that you're going to come out and be half naked popping your ass in front of these children. And I think we should have some type of modesty at a family event. And every year this is a family event where mamas, daddies, grandmas, granddaddies, kids, and come out here and they listen to R&B. And you came out here in your damn underwear popping your ass in front of these kids. And so when she held her accountable, the women got in the chat and said, India.Arie, you old bitch. You just mad because you're not relevant. You just mad because Megan Thee Stallion making more money than you. You mad because, when she tried to hold her accountable. But I do agree with India that particular set of Essence, I've gone to Essence 1,000 times, and that particular day, It is Family Day. It's signs everywhere. Family Day, and it's grandma, grandpa, and then Megan Thee Stallion comes out and pops that pussy right in front of the kids. And so I think I think that's accountability. If someone's out of line, a lady's out of line, you have the right as a man to correct that.
I got one more question before I can answer you this. Okay, I have one more question, then I'll go ahead and answer you. Okay, who makes the rules in the community, men or women?
Say again.
The question is, who make the rules in the community, men or women? Who make the rules?
The men do.
Okay. So you've answered most of my question, but but I'm not going to make a comment. When a man comes out and say, "Oh, I'm not going to hold a woman responsible because she is not my daughter and she's not my wife," that is very dangerous. And the reason why it's dangerous is because she is not your daughter and she's not your wife, but she can influence your daughter and she can influence your wife. But if you stand out in the society and criticize her and call her for her bullshit, guess what? Your daughter will listen and your wife will listen. And you need to shame her. The reason why the community is bad as it is today is because these women will tell you it's none of your business. Mind your business. No. I don't give a damn about your ass. Your ass is my business because guess what? My daughters are watching you. My wife is watching you. My girls in my life are watching you. So I don't give a damn what you think. In Africa, back in the days, women like that used to be orchestrated and sent away from the community. That is why we have 300,000 years of what? Good behavior until the West showed up. Until the West showed up, they screwed everything that our ancestors have built for 300,000 years. They showed up 300 years ago and 400 years ago and screwed up everything that our ancestors wasted their energy and time. Up until the last 50 years, it's gotten worse. So if you are out there messing up as a woman, I will call you out and I will say things about you, and I don't give a damn who come against me because you're a bad influence to my daughter. You're a bad influence to the society. You should be ashamed of yourself because guess what? A woman, that is why this Sunday is going to be great. A woman, when you sit down on a chair, you close your legs. I, the man, I hold a staff and open my leg. You know why? Because for more than 350,000 years, civilization has made women to close their legs until United States showed up and told women you can open your legs. So, no, if you misbehave, I will call you out. And I will call you out. But the thing is this. If men don't say anything, the men that are supposed to talk, and when we don't talk, the women that are supposed to talk will not talk. Until we speak out, then they will start talking. Because guess what? They will go into that bedroom to talk to her and say, you messed up. But we have to call her out. Then the woman will go and speak to her. But if we don't call her out, the woman will not speak to her. That's how society has been doing for 350,000 years. I rest my case.
All right. We'll go to thank you, Trey Taylor. Mr. Taylor's in the building tonight. What are your thoughts, sir?
I'm a firm believer that there's a difference between accountability and responsibility. I think that what you see today is you see people holding people responsible, but there's nobody on this platform, unless you are able to affect some sort of authority and or consequence, that you can affect accountability. In order to effectively hold someone accountable, there must be a consequence. There's a reason why law enforcement can hold you accountability, because there is a punishment if you do not follow the law. So a lot of people can say whatever they want. You can scream and yell until you're blue in the face, but unless you can affect some sort of consequence on a person, you cannot hold them accountable. You can hold your children accountable. Why? There's a punishment that comes along with it. You can put them on punishment. You can take things from them, right? You can tell them you can't go outside. There's some sort of authority that you have. Mr. Bennett spoke on this earlier. Some sort of authority that you have. I don't have any authority over Trey Ferg. Therefore, I cannot hold him accountable. Now, can I hold him responsible? Sure, absolutely. I can say you were responsible for this, and you didn't do X, Y, and Z. You're responsible, but I cannot hold him accountable. I can't do it. So I'm a believer that there is a difference. I do not believe that we are able to hold women accountable because we cannot affect any consequence on them. However, we have clearly placed the responsibilities on them, to which I think that majority of the women in our community have ignored.
Trey Ferg, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with Trey in regards of the accountability. No, excuse me, the responsibility. But I've always felt that I can only hold the people who are under my own authority accountable. Children that I work with, adults that I work with, my family, my children, my wife. So in that regard, I think holding them accountable, I hope it gives them the best opportunity. But as far as someone outside of that, it's hard to hold them accountable. So they'll just, I don't know, man. So it's a little rabbit hole. That's why I got this name behind me. It's going to be a wormhole tonight. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that. JT.
All right. So I don't think there was any wrong answers, but this is how I look at it. It starts with having what we would call in the military a chain of command, right? We would have something that's connected to the lineage of family. And if a man does not know where he stands at as far as hierarchy in his family, then it's never going to work, right? But the only thing we can hold accountable right now is our children. And that's only in the cases that we have right now is until they get grown, because families are not together. This is the reason why we have to push families. We have to push togetherness, because it's very difficult to hold somebody that you have no idea or no ties to accountable, right? This is the reason why you have all of these women running loose, and they're complaining and saying they want to be free at the same goddamn time. They talking out two sides of their neck. Reason being is because there's no men in place to be the lines in the loose leaf paper, right? There's no shame. There's no consequences. Or let me tell you, there are consequences, because life, that's what life is all about. It's about consequences. So the consequences are, they don't connect them with their behavior. They just think that it's somebody else's fault. For instance, this is why you have people like Prototype coming out here blaming shit on. What's up, brother? What's going on?
You already know where I'm coming.
This is where we have this divide in our division in our generations, right? Because we don't have the men. I think this is a time right now, like my man Trey Ferg always say, this is the best time in your life right now to take advantage, right? And when he says that, it does resonate with me, because when we see something like what we see right now, how bad things are, this is what I would consider God talking to us and telling us, this is where you have to take your place, black man. This is where the problem is right now. You know what I'm saying? It's not about who blaming who. It's about who's going to take the responsibility. Who's going to stand up and start taking the responsibilities to right the wrongs, whether they are involved or they feel that they're involved or not. So we have to hold people accountable, but the only thing is that we can only hold the ones that are closest to us accountable, the ones that respect us and revere us. End it there.
All right, Prototype, man. Thank you for being here tonight, my brother. Before you speak, I want to know how you doing, man. How's your family and everything, brother?
Everything's good, man. No complaints. I can't, we on a good stride.
All right, good. All right, what are your thoughts on the matter, sir? Is it can men hold women? Should men be able to, or do we have? Should we be holding them accountable for their behavior?
I think they're not hold accountable eligible. They can't. So it's a matter of, are we going to keep going back in a circle of, can we hold them accountable? We should hold them accountable. Let's hold them accountable. They can't take accountability. So at what point are we going to stop being insane and say, hey, they can't do it. We have to, take control and do whatever we need to do. And, because you hear all too much, I just want to not think. I just want to, rest in my femininity, or, what I'm saying? They want to be teenage girls for all their life. You know what I'm saying? So we got to treat them as such, because that's what they want. That's as far as they're willing to go. And we got to accept that and do what we have to do on the other end. I think us having a conversation of, you got to hold them accountable. They've proven to us they can't do it. They've shown us they don't want to do it. So why are we doing this to ourselves?
All right, I like that. Lost in translation.
What's that,
Talk
man?
to me.
Look here, man. I had a little bug, man. These folks got this internet acting a fool over here, man. Listen,
what is that? Alabama net?
No, man. Spectrum. Obama. Obama net.
I got Spectrum too, dog.
Yeah, man. They just go out when they feel like it, man. I'm in the middle of talking to the brothers, and all of a sudden, they're like, you know what I'm saying? Gonna cut me off.
We're gonna do maintenance anytime. We just do maintenance
just whenever they
when we
feel like it. I'm running the podcast over here. Just turn it off. You know what I'm saying? Folks get on my nerves with that foolishness. Anyway, make a long story short, I heard what y'all said, man. My thing is this: the ones that don't want to be held accountable, ignore them. The ones that are actually doing what they should be doing, them the ones that need to be celebrated. So what happens is, once the ones who don't want to be held accountable see the other ones, getting the praise or whatever, then all of a sudden they gonna want to tighten up. But my thing is this: you reap what you sow. Now the good ones may be few and far between, but those are the ones that should get your attention. Now, as far as the other ones, hey, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like they say, man, they're gonna be left to these streets, 20 in the front and 40 in the back, man. That's on them, And if their reputation want to get ran through the mud, that's on them, man. But as far as the good ones is concerned, those are the ones we need to be wasting our energy on, because that's what the reaping of your benefits are gonna be fruitful, instead of fooling around with these other ones. But I do understand where you're coming from, brothers. You can't hold them accountable. You just can't, because they have no shame. You can't hold nobody accountable. They ain't got no shame at that right prototype. You just can't do it. Now, the ones who are doing what they're supposed to do, that's where you put your energy, because that's where you're gonna see the return on your investment. That's all I got to say about that.
And I think that the accountability or responsibility, two of the things that we heard the most everybody say. I think if we don't do responsibility or accountability, whatever you choose, we'll end up. I'm gonna play this reminder of what we've been hearing in the last week in the news. Here we are.
There is new research that shows half of all women have a guy on the back burner just in case things go wrong in their current relationship.
Latest psychology research. I was just as shocked reading this data. More than half of women who are married and categorize themselves as happily married.
Wait a sec.
They're married.
Happily married women are doing this?
Have a backup plan. And what is a backup plan? It means you have someone on the back burner.
So a specific person they've identified.
Person that they've identified, and in most cases it was either an ex-boyfriend or an old friend who never made it to the dating category.
Hey, I want to remind you of that. But then I want to put some else in your spirit. You hold your mule. I want to put some else in your spirit. This right here says it all. This is what Prototype is talking about and what the rest of you guys are talking about. Somebody did a video that's just profound, that it just explains it all. Listen to this.
That's how it is too.
Is it
Remember
me
that
only, or
time?
did that one guy look like Paul?
Remember that time?
Dude.
So Prototype, I'm gonna go to you first, man. What do you think?
Genius. That was genius.
That literally just came past my feed. I just watched it before I got on here.
Yeah.
So yeah. So it goes to exactly like them holding accountability, being accountable. I remember like I started this journey of trying to hold women accountable. Maybe like 15 years ago. and like I said, I'm not crazy. So like when I see like they all say, "Oh, but you do it," but the men but the every time you try to hold them accountable, I'm like, oh, or that's where the you must hate women thing comes from. You know what I'm saying? Why do you hate women? And I'm like, I don't hate like what? And it'd be like friends, it'd be females that I thought was like my homies. I'm like, wait, you know me? Like, you know what I'm saying? They'd be like, well, why you be saying such and such? And I'm like, I don't understand. I mean, that's what I would do to my guy friends, but maybe we just have a different way of functioning. So I mean, that's just what it is. They function like women. They're women. They're not accountable for none of the weird stuff they do. You know what I'm saying? Like, shoot, like even when it comes to like my mother and grandmother, I seen some ways in there. I'm like, oh, where'd that come from? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, wait, you're supposed to be mom, or like, so you mean you don't grow past not being accountable? How you 50, 60, 70, 80, still thinking like you 13? Like, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? So they never get over it. It's like, so it's in every generation. It don't matter where they at with it. They don't grow past it. Now, what I have found is the women that are a little bit more realistic, they're just the less attractive ones. And that's because like they're not offered the same count. They don't got the pretty privilege of somebody always saving them. You know what I'm saying? They got to get to work. Those are the girls with the degrees. Look, I work in IT. I ain't ever worked with an attractive woman in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like,
wow.
And I've been in this field for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? And I've never came across an attractive woman as a coworker. You know what I'm saying?
Prototype, you don't have to be you don't have to be cute to be smart. Them two things don't go together, man.
Man, like, I mean, I wish, like, you know what I'm saying? Like they, we got the black excellence, everywhere. Like, oh, women do this. So, like I said, I ain't never seen a woman developer that was actually attractive, man. Like
Prototype. When I was a mechanic, I've never seen an attractive mechanic woman that I've ever worked with. You are absolutely right. It's like, yeah, this is bullshit here. And they were good too. Pull a damn engine out in a minute.
So it's Bull Daggers Anonymous.
No,
I wouldn't even say the bull daggers. I don't even work with many black people. I work with 3 black people in my life, and I hired all of them. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I've never worked with a black female mechanic.
And
all the female mechanics I've ever worked with, and that was 13 years, they all were white. Now they all were, yeah, you had a couple of them that was a little butchy or whatever, but for the most part, no, they were just regular women. They just was unattractive. They was not attractive at all. They had hands like me,
Damn.
They had meat hooks.
So that's TJ.
They was wearing boots like I was wearing boots. Say that again.
The females you're talking about, you're one of them, right?
Man, you out your damn mouth. Watch your damn mouth, Greek freak. Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
So I don't want to go back around the room here, because the word on the street is, guys, is that any man who has any type of authority, when people say heterosexual men are under attack, that shit is real. And any man that has any type of authority, even over your wife and your children, people are under you. People say, you hear people say, yo, shit, she'll pick me, or he beating her ass, or I posted and reposted, take heed to the message. And I've had people in my family say, she's a pick me, or he beating her ass. But ain't no woman gonna be bound to no man and doing all that stuff for a man and just saying all that. It's just not. She seemed like she fake. Why is it, guys, that women even attack women who are doing the right thing. What is that? What's going on there? We'll start with you, JT. What's going on with women attacking women who are living the life that they should live for their husbands and their families?
Don't they call it projecting? Isn't that what they call it?
I like that word. Say it again for the people in the back.
Projecting.
Yeah,
that's
there
what
we
they
go.
do.
Yeah,
it is. I've always believed that there are certain things that I just believe that women just are. They hate on each other. You know, like women really, if they were to think like us as men, they wouldn't have as many associates that they call friends. Have you ever heard a woman talk?
Mm-hmm.
They got more than one best friend. Don't best mean that it's that one that stands out from everyone else. However, women will have 6 best friends. So they don't know how to delineate when it comes down to, who likes them or who dislikes them. So when you have women that sit back and tell you that what's good for you is actually bad for you, they don't like your ass. Anytime a woman will sit back and tell you that your husband, that is the one that you're up under, is he's controlling you and they're trying to talk you out of your fucking marriage, that woman don't like you. Anytime you have a woman that when you have get-togethers, you and your husband are having get-togethers, they never show up, but once you and your husband have some problems and shit, they ready to go and help you tear that motherfucker down. They about to ride with you, girl. Or if you have a boyfriend, they don't like you. This is the reason why, we would tell people, we've had the conversation before. If your husband told you to leave your friend that you think is your friend, would you leave him? Most women would say no. They would say no because they feel that friend, they see what the fuck that friend is doing. They understand that friend's value. This is the reason why, because they refuse to delineate the ones that like them and the ones that don't. All you got to do is just look at a lot of these damn reality shows, right? You got a bunch of women that don't like each other, but they do a show every fucking week with each other.
Yep.
That's crazy as fuck to me. So I'll just end it there,
y'all. Prototype?
I would say it's kind of like, we all grew up with close friends that ain't necessarily go to college like we did, or you know what I'm saying, or make anything out of themselves. And you hung with this person every day. You know what I mean? So it's kind of one of those things like, oh, I'm not like you, or like it's self accountability. Because if you're doing it, then they're faced with, oh, I have to do it too. So some people rise and some people blame. You know what I'm saying? And most women will blame. So if they see a woman actually married, happy, doing XYZ, then that makes them be like, oh, maybe it is me. And we all know they don't want to say that. You know what I'm saying? So that turns back to, oh, maybe I got to be accountable. Shoot, my wife get attacked all the time by my family members. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll make comments and they'll be like, oh, well, she must not be happy, or she's this, or you're abusive, or you're controlling her, or you're just blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, y'all mother. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my wife had come on post plenty of times and was like, y'all are crazy. I'm over here being happy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what's wrong with y'all. So it's just a weird thing where like I said, women just aren't accountable. It's crazy to it's crazy to try.
Trey Taylor, TT.
People like Tyler Perry, Oprah, social media have done an exceptional job in teaching women, especially Black women, that men are not here to protect them nor to provide for them. So what they see is what they believe. And they believe that it's absolutely difficult for a man to actually love his woman, care for his woman, protect his woman, lead his woman, trust his woman, respect his woman, be loyal to his woman, because they don't see it. Instead, what they see is remakes of The Color Purple. Instead, what they see is I can do bad all by myself. Instead, what they see is a whole bunch of these movies that showcase Black men in bad lights. And so they start to believe it. So anytime you get a woman who comes out like Take Heed and says, that's not what's happening over here,
right?
My black man is not treating me like that. Oh, well, that can't be true, because what I saw on the movie that he was cheating on her. I saw in the movie Diary of a Black Man, he was this. I saw in The Color Purple, Mr. was this. So you must be getting beat, and you must be lying, and you must be covering up for him, because that's not what I've seen. The fact of the matter is this, and I've said this before because I grew up in one of these households. You don't know because you never saw it. I never saw a man and a wife in my home. I didn't see a wife and a husband in my home. I didn't see a loving relationship between my mother and my father. But only somebody who's not mentally stable would think that this is reality. That this is the way that it is for everybody. That's absolutely, utterly ridiculous. It is that way for some folk. But believe it, because I could go to my friend's house whose parents were married, and you could see that they had a loving marriage. So I could see that as well. What has happened is our women have fallen prey to the message that the media puts out. And so the Take Heeds of the world, who are in marriages, happy marriages, fulfilling marriages, where she pushes her, as she refers to him, her king. Oh, there's something wrong with her. She can't be right. And thus they deem her a pick-me.
Yep. Hey, bro, you and Prototype, y'all done hit this shit on the head, bro. Like, these family members, bro, they will. I'm gonna read them to y'all in a minute. Trey Ferd.
Okay, so BMU, you the offensive coordinator, Lost in Translation, you're the defensive coordinator. Us at the top, we trying to get the running back position. You guys at the bottom are trying to get the defensive back position. There's only one position. So what are we going to have to do? We're going to have to compete. And only one of us is going to get the position. So the rest of us are going to go what? We're going to go off, man, I don't know why he chose him, man. He wasn't even faster than me. I don't know why he chose him, man. He couldn't even make a tackle. We're going to complain. We're going to hate on the person that's in the position. So put the women in these positions. Most of those women have been passed over. So they're going to complain about the woman who's in that position winning. We all know that a married woman, for the most part, is winning. She was picked to be a wife. That means a guy recognized her to be a wife. Now, if she decides to continue to play her role, great. Everybody's going to benefit from it in the long run. But we're just seeing this play out. Most of the women that we see today are not qualified, as Trey alluded to. They've never seen it. So they don't even know how to play the position, even if they were to be chosen. And this is just, scary from where we are. It's just scary today. So I think it's a bad deal when women sort of speak about those women who are in those positions. But, I've had the same experience in my own family. They told me that I was controlling my wife, and my wife is, I never control a woman. She just agrees to be under my leadership and, be a wife. That's just the thing. So I don't know, it's scary out there.
Mr. Bennett.
Well, I think it's been mentioned already, but specifically, you've had a generation of women who've been raised to look at, I guess, traditional roles within a marriage as to be disdained. We had a show early on talking about the Cosby Show. Claire Huxtable, she was very dead set against the traditional roles for women. I mean, the exchanges she used to have with Eldon over, the role of a wife or a wife serving a husband and whatnot. It was like, the idea of a wife just being submissive to her husband was an anathema in that time. So you had a whole generation that was raised on that kind of ideology. So the idea that women get upset when they see a woman being, under the authority of her husband or acting in certain ways towards her husband, that's, not the narrative that's being painted by all these other media images, is something that is, almost to be expected, because again, a lot of them, they haven't seen it themselves. But that's the narrative that has been pushed, that be a successful career person, be independent. A man, having a man is a nice to have, but not a necessity. And to think that a man is a necessity in your life, you're less than, because you think that way. So I think that the social engineering that is taught women certainly since the 80s, that these things are, a man is optional, is, I think, at great great responsibility for the attitudes that women have today.
Mr. Bennett, I got a question though, and this is a serious question. The hell is an anathema?
It's like a sin. It's just totally against the religious or the thought process of the society of the people. So.
Y'all ain't gonna just be running and just throwing these damn words out around black
That's
folks.
all right, man.
That's all right.
Hear me out. No offense, brother, but I think that goes above your IQ set sometimes.
That's all right, JT. That's what we had to learn, man.
It couldn't have went that far above my IQ, because guess what I ended up doing? Wait until he finished his sentence. And what did I do? Ask him what an anathema was. And you know what? I looked it up while he said it. I said, whoa, we just threw some shit out there. Love it, brother. Love it. I love that you did it.
Bro.
That's crazy.
Low IQ would have acted like they knew what he was saying.
Right.
Yeah, you right. Yep. That's it. Right. Yep.
I done got the etymology of it and everything right now, bro. Now, ha. How is my goddamn IQ? You better check and recognize.
Where I ain't going, man?
Yeah.
I'm using that word now. You know that, right? That's the word of the weekend.
Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah. If you guys look at it, right, we all knew those girls when we were younger that was about to get married, and we knew
what?
I said that we knew those girls that were getting married, that we knew that her ass is not going to marry for long. Our ass is not going to marry for long. So you see what I'm saying, right? We knew those girls are not going to marry for long, which means that we knew she's not going to last in a relation, in that marriage. As soon as she's getting in, we knew she's going to get out. Because I know some girls when I was in college, right? And we got out of college and they got married. And I said, this girl is not going to last for 5 years, or this one is not going to last for 10 years. We discussed those things among ourselves. And guess what? Those girls didn't last in marriage because we knew they were crazy. So 50% of women have backup because they didn't want to get married at the first place. They just want to get married because of parental pressure. And they just can't wait to get out of it. That's the thing about life. We as parents, we know that that certain women among our children, certain daughters might not want to get married. She just want to live in your house forever because she's lazy. She don't want to do nothing. She don't want any man to tell her what to do. She don't want to cook. She don't want to clean. We have sisters like that don't want to do something. We have cousins that don't want to cook. They don't want to do anything. They just want to live with their parents the rest of their lives. So yes, the society is crazy amongst our women. But at the same time, like I said earlier, if we don't say something, if we don't criticize, if we don't speak out, yes, you can't hold them accountable because they are not under your rules, they're not under your command. You don't have certain authority over them, but guess what? Your spoken words holds them accountable. Your spoken words hold them accountable, which means every time that they do something stupid, they will think about it because the words that you speak always ring in the heads of your children. I gotta say this, as a young boy growing up, right? There are many bad things that I would have done. But because of the things that are said by my dad, I know at that age, my dad can't do me nothing. But the words that he told me as a little kid growing up was what held me. was what held me down, was what told me that, oh, if you do this, this is the consequences for your actions. If you do that, this is the consequences for your actions. So the words of my father kept me in line. But guess what? There is an adage in Nigeria that said, where a child is being advised, another person's child is learning. Meaning that you might be speaking because you don't have authority over that child or over that woman. You can't do shit to her because she's not under your command. But guess what? You don't know that. She might react negative in your face, but behind closed doors, she might be reacting positively. Megan Thee Stallion would have gone home and regretted what she did. But guess what? Other black women came to defend her. And she must have a change of mind. What spoils things in life is not what you said to a child that is not under your control, but it's other people undermining your control or what you said. Just like if you have a house and you married a wife and your wife is in your house, right? And your kids do something bad. Whatever you say to your kids is not effective if your wife doesn't undermine you. If your wife undermines you, whatever you said becomes ineffective. It doesn't matter if somebody is under your control or not. Yes, you can't hold somebody that is not under your control accountable, but your words can. And even if that person is under your control and you say something and your wife doesn't respect you, and she doesn't respect your command as a husband, she will undermine your authority. I know friends of mine that are dead today, some that didn't amount to be anything in life because I saw their mothers undermine their fathers every day. We have bad kids today because why? We have single motherhood all over the country. Why do we have single motherhood all over the country? Because these girls don't want to live under the control of any man. They undermine the men around them. They don't want to live under the control of any man. I rest my case.
Thank you, Kane. Arpain, you on deck, sir.
Thank you. Listen, hit dogs holler, man. You know, when somebody hits a nerve, you're gonna react. And that's when a woman tells a woman about herself, even if she's right, they're gonna strike back because that's what they're used to doing. It's funny, I was on a panel that has like they could snipe you off the panel. And the lady sniped me off the panel. She said, man, get our pain off of there because I don't want to hear about his 100-year marriage. You know what I'm saying?
All
right.
right.
Talk about marriage. So she didn't want to hear anything about something that was good. And then when I finally met her, she couldn't have been no more than 24 years old. Right? I said, man, you know, now I guess we kissed and made up, whatever. But I didn't really take it personal. I thought it was funny, right? But still, you know, it's just kind of indicative that when people hear something that they might not be, measure up to, they don't like to hear that.
I think it's
You
because
know,
you're
they just
old.
don't like, and that's a normal thing for everybody, but women can't stand that shit, man. You know, so and they react. So let me just land it there.
Appreciate it, Arpain. Grooming and reviews, you're next, sir.
A wife, woman, whatever, isn't gonna tell me in my castle how to act or any of that bullshit. She gave her opinion. She's gonna say what she wants. But end of the day, it's my castle. She can still flip out, you know, start snapping her fingers, you know, all this bullshit. End of the day, it's a two-way street here. If she doesn't like the rules or plays down here, good example. I remember one of my exes. She goes, "Oh, I'm going out with my girls dancing." I go, "No, you're not." Another example was one of my friends had a gay man as a best friend. I don't give a fuck who the fuck the guy is.
Oh, you already know what time it was, man. He was putting on.
Oh yeah, he was definitely trying to go over after my territory. Very simple. I shot that down very fast. Grow the fuck up. That makes me a fisher now, by the way, too. But end of the day, as men, as whatever, they're ground rules. I don't care if it's official, call it official, or just something you do or whatever. Everybody has some type of ground rules. We do. How would a woman like you say, hey, my friend's a lesbian, but I'm gonna cuddle on the couch for her? It's okay, right? But it's okay for you to cuddle up on a couch with a gay man. I'm walking into that. Same concept. Think about it for a minute. I rest there.
She was snuggled up with a dude, and he was special. They had a special bond, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That was her best friend, huh?
Yeah, especially when my foot went up his ass, but it's a story. It went in easy too.
Hell no. Listen, welcome to the stage, everybody. Mr. Trucker Yale. Give it up for him. Trucker Yale, I know you've been watching it, man. What say you, sir? What say you?
What's going on, Trucker?
Trucker, man, you on mute, sir? You on mute. You gotta unmute yourself. Hold on, sir.
It's an internal thing. He was unmuted.
Can you hear me now?
Right.
Yeah,
we
can
got
hear
you,
you now.
boy.
Come
We
on.
got you.
Okay. Whew, thank God. I'm sorry. I'm towards the border, so
that's all right.
it's
You
bad
in there?
down here. What's going on, fellas? What's going on?
What's happening, man?
So I'm trying to get the gist of the question because I kind of just jumped in. So what's the part of the conversation right
basically, Black Man Unfiltered just showed a video of this lady saying that most happily married women have a backup plan. You know what I'm saying? Over 50% have
Yeah,
a
I said
backup
that.
plan. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So
That's true.
the topic is, how do you hold these women accountable? You know what I'm saying? In situations like this.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. After today, I kind of realized today, how do you even talk to a person that live their life and lives on a consistent basis?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you even lead a woman like that? How can you? How can you teach a woman like that? How can you even invest in a woman like that? So, there's nothing really you can do. The only thing you can do is just weed them out, cut them off when you catch that red flag instead of collecting them. And when you find out women, you hold on to her tight, because it's a lot of bad ones out here. And even when you try to tell them the truth, they're gonna make you feel some type of way, just because of how they feel. Sometimes they a lot of people can't deal with reality. So it's a lot of broken people out here, for real, to be honest.
You know, Anissa said that I don't know if I believe that stat or not. Anissa, I'm here to tell you, it's real.
It's real.
These
I
women
mentioned
keep
that the other day.
backups.
Yeah, I mentioned that the other day.
Yeah.
And to be honest, they be having backups before the wedding day.
Of course.
A lot of them do. So, but then y'all expect the man to be monogamous to y'all and faithful, but y'all already out here got a backup plan before you even get married. That's how your marriage gonna fail automatically. You set that up from the beginning. So why complain about the results at the end?
You know what I think that comes from, Trucker? Yeah, I think that comes from people not doing the work, man, not vetting people properly. A lot of times people are taken off guard, but see, the thing about it is when you got them beer goggles on, you know what I'm saying? You see what you want to see. You know, you're looking at the relationship from a selfishness point of view, looking at, oh man, look at this woman I get to get, instead of really doing your due diligence. You know what I'm saying? Did you talk to their parents? You know, did you talk to the father? You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. You know, did you see the family? I mean, what kind of stock she come from? You know what I mean? Have you seen her friends and her family? Because most of the time, when you see her along with their friends or whatever, you watch their friends move, they all pretty much move the same way. So if you walk around and you don't pay attention, yeah, you're gonna get surprised. You know what I mean? If you're not really paying no attention. Ain't that right, Trey Ferg?
Trey said something earlier, in regards to the video. I could see probably if you wasn't that woman's first choice. you wasn't her first choice, then yeah, she probably got a backup plan. And just another caveat to me is that, you know, my wife couldn't hyphenate my last name. She had to take on the whole name. So, you know, hyphenated, it's easier to slide out, disconnected, but taking on that last name meant a lot to me. I don't know how it feels to everybody else, but I knew she would be committed. And I got no pushback when she said she would take on my last name. She's intertwined everything about her life with me and my last name. So I don't know, man. It's just me. I've always been funny about hyphenating the last name.
I think.
Hey Trey, it's 75%. It's more than 75, 80%.
You know, and Nissa says, "Nah, I think my married friends, they don't have backups." Let me explain something to you, Nissa.
Oh my
about 30% of couples have kids that don't belong to the husband.
It's 40.
So it's 40% now.
It's 40%.
So that leads
now.
me to believe that somebody's doing something. There's a saying that says, you know, mama's baby, but daddy's maybe. You know what I'm saying? That's out there for a reason. You know what I'm saying? They didn't put that out there for giggles, if you understand what I'm saying. But
I mean,
it happens. But what the thing about it is most people don't advertise that because it's taboo. You know what I mean? You don't talk about stuff like that unless you know you from the hood and you know you make rap songs and you dancing in, you know, operating rooms, you know, snatching babies out and all this other foolishness, talking about you gonna forget your baby dad and all this other stuff, you know. But you know, it's one of those things.
It's on camera.
That's
you can't
right.
hide it no more. It's on camera now. It used to be a myth. It used to be a myth until the men started gotten smart and started recording everything, and you see the results. You can't turn on nothing without seeing the backup plan. Matter of fact, I just saw something about a woman got pregnant by the dude who she said was her gay friend.
Yeah, you already know what's up with that.
Well, you don't even need to put on a camera. I mean, the women are admitting it.
Exactly.
I mean, they're coming on the panel saying they got backup plans. I got 3, 4, 5 guys in rotation, or I always have to have my separate account. I always have to. I mean, that just leads. If a woman says, I need to have my escape money, there's got to be maybe a man somewhere to go along with that, right? I mean, come on.
You call them beta orbitals. They come flying around like, hey, let's comment. You know what I'm saying? Just hanging around waiting for their turn. She said they have 1 or 2 kids, none of that mess going on. That it ain't like people gonna advertise their foolishness. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. Nobody gets out and say, you know what, I'm out here cheating on my husband. I'm being a whole Jezebel out in these streets. You know what I'm saying? In certain circles, you don't announce stuff like that. You just, you know, kind of meet them down at the hotel for a drink or two, you know, and let things happen, you know.
Ain't that right?
One in translation, right? There is also one thing that Anissa is not saying. Check this out, right? A lot of women, why they are dating another man, they already have backup in case that relationship messes up. A lot of women have financial backup in case that relationship messes up, right? So over 50% of women that date men always have another man as a backup in case if he messes up, they're gone. Over 50% of women have financial backup in case if that marriage doesn't work out, they're gone, right? It's the same thing. Over 50% of married women have backup men. Women psychologically do have these things, but they live in denial that they don't. They do. Anissa herself, right? If she's going to tell the truth, she had a boyfriend at a time, because I know she's according to her, she's never been married. Anissa can testify that she has had a boyfriend and had a backup man in case she breaks up with her boyfriend. She can go to that
Correction.
guy.
Correction. She was married before.
If she was married, she knows, she can tell from the subconsciously. And not before she got married, when she was dating, she also knew when she was dating, she was trying to get, she had a backup boyfriend in case if her boyfriend messes up. And today, she knows subconsciously that she also have a backup plan in case if her current relationship situationship messes up. Because to me, if you're not married to somebody, you get a situationship. That's why I see there is nothing called
on the panel. Her backup plan is on the panel.
Why do we care
that's
if women
what
got
I'm
backup
talking
plans?
about. No, that's the discussion. That's the discussion that we have.
Right.
I
So
got
I
a
mean,
question.
like,
Hey, Arpay, let's be clear. I am nobody's second option. Be very clear about that.
Tell him again, Trey. You number one.
didn't
You
say
know what I'm saying?
Number one.
Hey,
I'm
Trey.
nobody's
being
backup
second
plan,
option
so.
ain't that bad of an option. ain't that bad
Hey,
of a
Trey.
job either.
Trey, we
Like,
need
I
to.
don't
Hey, we
mind
need to
being a
give him
second
a.
option. Like once upon a time, like that was my happy place. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
Trey. They need to give him a reminder. Tell you
Man,
ain't nobody.
what is that? Is that like the anthem for the?
Custom made.
What the hell?
help it that I look good, smell good. I can't dance
like
all I
this
know.
backup.
I can't help it.
Stupid.
Trey said, "I'm the man."
Talking about backup plan. I ain't nobody backup plan.
You better say it.
I got a question for everybody. Now.
What's happening, Trevor? Yeah.
What would you what y'all think would happen if, or it's going to happen? But I'm just hypothetically, if tomorrow they said, "Yo, from now on, it's mandatory to get a DNA test," what you think the country gonna look like?
A hot mess.
What you think that 40? What you think the percent rate gonna be when a lot of these dudes find out that
30
their
to
kids ain't theirs?
40%.
No, that's the ones that we know. We ain't talking about the ones that won't do it.
I'll be honest with you, Trucker here. If it's 40% now, right, or 48% or 38%, if it's 40 or 38, I got to tell you this, right? If they do that nationwide DNA, it might drop to 30%. I'm telling you because the more the number increases for the true for the positive one, the negative will also decrease because now you're dealing with number which a general number, because general number positive always reduces the negative. When you do any calculation in science, it's going to drop.
You know what? In Jamaica, it's more like 80 to 90%. You know what I'm saying? So
to what?
Yeah,
that the children are illegitimate.
Paternity fraud in Jamaica.
But guess what? In that Jamaica, right? If they do a nationwide start in Jamaica, that number will also drop significantly. If they do a nationwide, I'm talking about the number of people, the DNA coming out to show that this is the father versus DNA coming out to show that this is not the father. Whenever you have a nationwide compulsory test like that, the positive one, which means the father, this is the father, is going to increase significantly. The other one will decrease. Yeah, so you guys got to also know that a science calculation is different when you have probability. Because if you're doing random statistics, random statistic is going to skew certain way because it's not total statistics. But when you do all head counts, right? Oh, the number drops a lot.
Yeah, we just getting a little confused on what number you're saying is dropping. You're saying that the fraud will go down or go up?
No, it's going to the fourth count, which is the paternity failure. Of the paternity failure is going to go down, which means that this is not the father. It's going to go. No, it's going to go down. It's going to go down. If you do everybody, it's going to go down.
Nah, it's definitely.
I think it's that opposite, but I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah, it's definitely going to increase. I think it's going to increase by a very, very scary number, and it's going to make a lot of men or a lot of people look sideways. 40% is a lot.
Let me put it this way. This is what is going to increase.
That number could be 80%, and these dudes are still going to do. These dudes are still going to do stupid crap out here.
Oh well, yeah. You said new dudes. You said the new dudes. So yeah, I
Yeah, but one thing that I think that is going to cause, this is where the problem is going to come. If you ask me, this is where the problem is going to come. If you say that in each family, there's going to be a child that doesn't belong to the father, and total family 80%, I will say yes, that will happen in the US. So if you have a family of 3 or 4, a family of 2 or 3, 3 or 4 kids, right? One of them probably will not belong to the father, but most kids will belong to the man. But 1 or 2 of the kids will not belong to him. I will tell you for a fact that will go up significantly. 80% of the marriage in the United States will end, because that's if the men are going to end it. Because most men will not let their wife go, because most men are simp. Most men will not let their wife go if it's only 1 child, or as long as it's under 20% of the kids. Yeah, you can have the mic. You can have the mic.
They just say, go on.
Oh my God!
Oh,
that's so
man, that's funny right there.
Here's the thing: if you want to see more paternity tests, you would have to change the child support laws. Because here's the thing: even if you can prove that the child's not yours, you still may be on the hook for child support.
Yeah.
Even with a proven test, there have been court cases I know, because I have a cousin who had to pay 2 years of child support, even after he showed the court this is not my child, but they were married. Yeah. He had to pay child support out of it as a part of his divorce. So even after you show it, you have to find a way to make sure that, and I'm talking at a national level, not each state get to pick and choose. At a national level, this is the way this goes. If you go into that court and a court-appointed paternity test shows that it's not your child, you're good. You can walk away, no problems with that. And I guarantee if that's the case, you will get more men running to get the test done on these kids to find out.
True, but before you go on, let me just say this, and this is something for all men. If you are separated from your wife, you gotta get that divorce, because anytime you're still married to her, if she gets pregnant by a bum or anybody else, you're on the hook.
On that birth certificate. Yep.
You are on the hook. So there's it's called presumption of paternity, and that shit extends as long as you're married, even if you've been separated for 5 years. If the guy's a bum, they could come after you for child support because you're still married.
So why are we trying to hold them
accountable? But check this out, right? If you are married, if you are divorced with a woman, or if you have a paternity issue with a woman and you have a DNA, you know that Supreme Court case, I think is out in Seattle. I forgot where it was out from. You by law not supposed to pay child support. If you have a DNA test, right? Because a lady was actually 4 ladies sued the state of, I think it's the state of Washington. I'm going to share with you guys later. Sued the state of Washington because of their husband, because the state was taking more money from child support than they were giving to the women. So the court of
that's a different issue. The state
No, I'm heading somewhere. But in that case, the Supreme Court also ruled that a man, because a guy just won that case last year, because he got a woman pregnant at the age of 13 and she was 15 or 16. So he was paying, they were garnishing his pay. So during the case, he discovered that you can actually stop your child support as long as DNA, there is a transmission of data that prove that the child does not belong to you. Child support stops automatically. But
that's
some people don't.
That's state by state.
No. It was state by state, but Supreme Court ruled against states on that.
No, they didn't.
No, that's not in every state. I think that's just in Tennessee right now.
No, that's not.
In New
true.
Jersey.
That's just
Tennessee passed a law of compulsory DNA testing. That's what it passed. Tennessee passed a law of compulsory DNA testing. Mr. Payne, don't worry. I'm going to find it and then I'll send it to you. Okay? Or your next show, I will send it to you.
I know you're wrong on that one. You can find it, but there's no federal law like that. There's no federal.
There is a federal law, but what happened is that you know, okay, look at this. You know, by federal law, right, you cannot be held in a cell more than 48 hours, right?
Let's stay on point, man. Let's stay on point. We talk about
No, I'm just giving you an instance. You cannot be held without being charged for more than 48 hours. That is a Supreme Court ruling that affects all states. But guess what? When you hold somebody from the hood, they will keep, if you from the hood, right, and you don't know shit, they will keep you there for 2-3 weeks. But if you know your rights, right, they will for 48 hours, they got to let you go if they can't charge you. Trey, am I lying?
I
don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I'm not disputing you on that one, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about.
Oh
my God.
That last one is
Hey, that plane has some hips on it, didn't it?
Oh my God, that's some funny shit, man.
Yeah, man, but every state ain't like that, man. You know, it's they're trying to clear it up. I know in Florida they trying to end lifetime alimony. You know, that's the world's greatest grift.
Oh, they
right
passed
there.
that one in Florida.
Oh yeah,
they passed that one.
Oh, they big mad down there,
No,
boy.
it's ended. In Florida, they don't have that anymore. It's ended.
Say what, Ikene?
No, I said Florida already passed that law. There is no lifetime alimony. It's only I think it's 80% if you marry for more than 20 years.
Either way it go, you ain't finna get paid no more.
Get it out of blood, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Catch me if you can. Shit.
No
you
more
better.
money's for you.
See, it's
Right.
These are the issues. These are the issues where it cuts across racial lines. And one of the things that we don't do as Black people is find people we can, men that we could bond with in terms of try to get laws passed. This should be a universal thing. Black, white, Asian, everybody. As men, these are issues we could all agree on that we're getting screwed, right? And we need to find more issues like that so we can start to try to change.
But this is the thing. We gotta cut that bullshit out, that old 1950s way of thinking of racism, bro. If we want to do that, we have to
say. What did I just say, JT? I said
no. I'm agreeing with you. I'm just adding to something. God
okay,
damn.
I'm sorry, brother.
Damn,
I'm sorry.
Pay.
I mean, go ahead,
No,
go ahead.
but and I'm
Payne, get off the prune juice.
I'm literally speaking to people that don't have these type of conversations that we have, right? I'm talking about us being able to bogart and debo our way into society as if we are not second-class citizens. As long as we keep feeding that bullshit to each other, how are we going to be talking about politics? How are we going to be talking about having a stronger community in America if we don't say, I'm doing what the fuck I'm supposed to do, and I'm gonna, I'm gonna make sure my family is this way. I'm gonna make sure politics is this way. I'm gonna make sure all of these things that I'm in, and I'm in this motherfucking this sphere that we can call it. I'm gonna be we're gonna be the ones that's gonna be saying, okay, this is what we're doing. But we got majority of us, man, we keep thinking we are goddamn Africans and immigrants to this country. We keep telling each other that dumb shit. I'm not a fucking immigrant. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, god damn it. My father was from Mississippi. My mama from Detroit also. All that other bullshit, we can deal with that later. We need to deal with where we at right fucking now. And until we do that I don't see us politically being in charge of anything. I don't even see us being, when it comes down to owning our own business and actually being successful as a group, because we keep having this shit in the back of our head and we keep feeding it to the next generation and the next generation. Have you heard the Z's talking? They talk one way and then they talk another way. They talk about motherfuckers in generation before them is not paying them any attention. And then they would sit back and talk about racism as if they were there. I heard somebody in a Z generation called Martin Luther King, Marshall Luther King. Have y'all seen that video?
You
They
know,
refer to him as Martin Luther King.
We're gonna let the fools be fools. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, what it comes down to is making sure you select the judges in your area to see things your way.
But we have
You
to.
know
What I'm saying is the whole.
And that comes down to cash
We have
money.
to get out of the bullshit. We got to get out of that bullshit where we're just second class citizens. That's bullshit to me. There was a time where that was true. Now, no, we're not second class citizens. We keep having the attitude of being second class citizens. So how do we expect our next generation to be better if we're not fully on in America saying this is what we are? And we get people and we start pushing our people to be politically inclined, to be more financially inclined, to be more family inclined. We're not, because that's that missing part that we have in America, is that we keep talking about dumb shit that don't mean anything. There's no fucking way you should have anybody that's less than 60 years old talking about we're being oppressed. As Black folks, that's dumb to me. How you gonna sit back and say that shit and then we say, let's get our family together? When we are not even taking charge, we're not telling people to be a fucking strive to be mayor, strive to be the fucking Senate or whatever it is. Fuck that president shit. Don't nobody want that bullshit ass thing.
I do.
Be something that'll make a difference. We don't never hear young folks talk about legislation. And that's the number one thing that impacts our fucking life. We never hear everybody hollers about, I'm gonna get off my soapbox in a minute. Everybody hollers about presidents and shit like that, but you never hear anybody being up in an uproar and mad when we talk about our local judges. And those the motherfuckers that be keeping our people in prison. Those are the people that be doing dumbass shit. Those are the people that be fucking us up, fucking us up in family court. The judges that we fucking elect. And until all that shit get fixed, this family shit is going to be on the back burner.
And that's why I said, JT, we need to make alliances with people who are not Black. And there's got to be issues that have nothing to do with race. And we have plenty of those issues where we could have coalitions with people who are not Black, because it's not our number one problem anymore, like you said, like I said. And the problem is that the Black people that we put in office, they're all fucking liberals, right? How many Black conservatives are we putting around there, which we need more of? When Black people tend to crucify Black conservatives. We have all these fucking liberals up there, and they're passing laws and all kinds of shit that have nothing to do with making us better. They keep us in constant victim mode. And it's time for us to get out of that shit, man. So
you're speaking about allyship.
I think we're in lockstep with that, but it's hard to get past it because people have some kind of identity that we have to remind each other that we're fucking victims. I'm tired of that shit.
That's because we're not practicing what you just said, and they call it allyship. We have no idea of what allyship is.
Well, here's my thing. I don't think this particular subject is a race subject, because I'm pretty sure if the white guys are probably going through the same thing that we're going through, it's just that we're not in their circles to see it, just like they're not in our circles to see it. But at the end of the day, we can still agree that the behavior needs to stop.
Guy on this thing.
You know what I'm saying?
No, but we do. This is where you when we talk about the whole thing of the red pill, when we talk about manosphere, that doesn't have that's not racial. That shit is based off of gender. That's based off of people saying, listen, man, I know that you're Black. I know that you white. We have a similar situations when it comes down to these goddamn broads. That's what it is. That's allyship. That's what we're talking about, is allyship.
JT, let me educate you on something. The reason why you have I've been on YouTube for a long time. The reason why you have a Black manosphere is because at one point in time, the white manosphere didn't want nothing to do with Black men. So Black men had to form their own coalition to address issues that were really permanent to us. The white manosphere, or whatever you want to call it, they weren't on the same page with us. So this whole thing about, I'm just going to keep it real with y'all.
black people have to understand that the truth of the matter is we really don't have any friends. We have plenty of enemies, and we need to unify amongst ourselves. How the hell do you expect that you're going to be able to unite with other people who are already on code with themselves and will do and focus on themselves when we have not been able to consistently be on code with ourselves? So when you listen to Latino people that are Mexican, Puerto Rican, when they talk about their issues, they're not running around saying black and brown. They're talking about their people. When you look at Univision, they're stuck. They're talking about their people. You look at what's happening in Chicago. They're not worrying about what's happening to black people in Chicago. So before we can unify with other groups, how about we figure out how to unify with ourselves and operate on code?
Listen, you know what, information, man? You see, I think we take a step too far. I didn't say about unifying with it. I'm talking about issues.
I'm saying, hey, RP, I'm just saying in general that before you can unify with other people consistently, let me finish what I'm saying here. 100%. That we have to at least get our own affairs together. You clean up your own house before you invite guests. That is logic.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. If your house is dirty and unkept,
you don't have the same house. We're not monoliths.
You don't invite people into an unstructured situation.
You just said a whole bunch of stuff. So let's
and I'm gonna keep on saying
information, man.
Wait.
Mr. Penn got something to say. Mr. Penn got something to say.
I wanted to bring up another point.
Hold
cut me off.
Hold on.
I thought you were finished.
I wasn't finished because I wanted to bring up another point.
This is a spot that we need to actually have a conversation on. So let's not make it pretentious, y'all. Let's actually respect each other's what we have. So
let's put 1 point at each point. Why are we gonna have 6 or 7?
Right. I get it. But we have to figure it out.
I'd like to finish what I was trying to say.
Go ahead, information man.
At the end of the day, all groups work within their own house first. They clean up their own house. They develop a unity amongst themselves for their issues. And once they can do that, it makes it a lot easier for you to be able to connect with other people. Black people are very disjointed right now. We can't even agree on basic things like reparations. We can't even agree on really basic things based on historical facts. Now, in the past, when I was on this panel, I talked about how men need to unify to change these fraternity, laws and things of that nature. Now, this is what you can do. And I'm going to read this here. What happens in a fraternity test results are not the father. If the tested father is not the child biological father, the results will be problematic for the fraternity, and the case could be 0. And the statement of results on the report will read, the alleged father is not the biological father of the child. Now, in most states, the father of a child is the one named on the child's birth certificate for marriage. But this is what I really wanted to get at. You can get a private genetic test, and then you can get a test that's ordered by the court. If the woman is found to have lied to you about the child being yours, you can actually do a countersuit against that said woman and hold her accountable. So the question is, how many men, when they are wronged by the woman, how many of us actually take legal action to hold this woman accountable when there are things in the law where you can, no matter what state you're in, you can do a countersuit against her. So when we say, well, this man found out that the child wasn't his, but yet he's still being made to pay this, you can do a countersuit. You can file petitions with the court to overturn it. But how many men actually continue to pursue that and just leave in defeat and let the woman get away with it? And then we got Negroes crying about it on YouTube. I got to keep it real with you. How many of us actually take real action?
0%.
Thank you. You can hear crickets.
That's not true.
Why do we
Man,
continue to
how many
argue
points
about
you
a
gonna make,
system
man?
that we're not
why
willing
would you not
willing
hear
to do
crickets on
anything
a panel?
about?
That
I'm
doesn't
asking a
apply-
very
that
important
doesn't
question
apply to
here.
any of us
No,
on the
no,
panel.
but wait
Of
a
course
minute,
you hear
bro.
crickets.
I mean, listen. I mean, you had like 4 or 5 points over there.
And I'm gonna keep making these 4 and 5 points are pain. So
wait a
this is the
second. See,
question.
now nobody else
What is
can
the
talk. I
answer
thought we
to
were
it?
supposed to have
Because
a
I really wanted to get
a black
I really
community
wanted to
can't
ask
do
you.
that.
I really
This
said
panel is a
this
prime
because
example
I just
why the
wanted to
black
get an
community
answer.
can't have a
That's all.
Nobody agrees on anything.
I just wanted to see what your thoughts were.
Come on, y'all.
About how often do we really
You ain't
challenge
let
the
nobody
system?
say anything, man.
Well, you keep cutting me off when I wanted to.
How many
end my
fucking points you
plane.
gonna make,
Would
man?
you relax? Won't you relax,
No,
man?
man. Well, how many points
Relax,
you gonna
chill.
make? Let's talk.
I'm
Let's
not
have
even
a
screaming at
conversation.
you.
You
I'm not even
talked
screaming
about
at you.
unity. You talked
All right,
about
go ahead,
laws.
go ahead,
Which
go
one
ahead,
you want me
go
to
ahead.
respond to?
That's all I wanted to say. A lost in transaction.
Come on. Appreciate it.
Translation.
Come
I'm
on,
sorry,
Arpane.
because
Come on,
I just wanted to see what brothers thought about that. I'm reading law while y'all talking about stuff. I'm looking at what does the law say, and we should look
The
at
law in what state?
Nobody's saying no.
What-
Well,
what-
first of
okay,
all, we skipped
Trey,
over.
what
a
I'm
whole
saying
bunch
is
of
we
stuff.
know
What
that
state
all
was it?
We
states.
skipped over a whole
What
bunch
I
of
was
stuff.
saying
Now
is
we're talking
that
about-
we know that
nobody
all
said
states have
that.
different laws, but across the board, if a woman is found to have lied to you, there are still mechanisms in which
Nobody
you
said
can
that
counter
wasn't a mechanism.
her in a countersuit for lying to you. So there are
Nobody
things in the
said
law
we couldn't do
that
that.
can protect us if we go forward with our lawsuits and intensify it.
What's the countersuit? The countersuit is to what? To correct the paperwork? What exactly am I countersuing?
Okay, here,
for?
let me read this to you.
Am I
What
countersuing
happens
for
if
money?
you find out that the
Am I
kid
countersuing
isn't
for
yours?
for corrections?
Even if
Who am I
you find
countersuing?
out a child is not yours using a private genetic test service, you will likely still need to seek out a genetic test through the state to prove you are not the father. For sure, you will need to file a petition with the court to terminate the parent-child relationship and your child support obligations. That's the counter. That's all I was trying to say.
So that's out there where
the
guys are not getting justice.
Yes, sir,
I mean,
Trey.
it's not like people ain't doing that, man. I mean, there's hundreds of cases out there where men are not getting justice and they are fighting. So why are we going down that path? Listen, let's back up a second because you said like 800 fucking points. Let's back up a second.
No, I didn't say 800 points. Stop exaggerating.
This whole thing about black unity, we got to get our house together. One, we're not monoliths. We're not going to have one voice. Matter of fact, there's people who have like 6 different ways to have reparations. And then you'll have one person say, well, if it's not my way, your way is wrong. So we can't even get to any agree. We could agree that we both want reparations, but if it's not your check like you want it, or if it's not taxes like this guy wanted, and if it's not this like somebody else wanted, we're arguing over that shit.
I'm not arguing. I'm just simply saying that in order to work with other people, we have to have some unity amongst ourselves. That's just basic common law. That's all I'm saying.
We don't have to sit there. There's issues that we have.
Black people have always worked with other people, Arpane. So it's not like we haven't worked with people.
I just did it. Wait a minute. You cutting me off. How come you fucking guys let this guy say anything
relax,
you want,
man.
but when I say
Information, man. Let him talk. Let him talk. Information, man.
Information,
man. Out of control, man.
Information, man.
I don't want you to have a heart attack online.
Information, man. How do we get younger guys to understand this countersuit? That's a real question.
Okay, Trey, you are absolutely right. All I'm basically saying is there are things in the law. I read something that was in the law, and all I was saying is how many guys actually continue to. I'm not saying that there's not guys out there who don't fight for their kids and don't fight for what's right when they're wronged.
I don't think they know.
I don't think there's enough of us.
I don't think they know.
Right,
No,
because
there's a lot of guys
you're
who
absolutely
do know.
right. Some guys don't know. So what we should be doing is educating people.
We have
rather than
there's
just
a lot of
talking
people
about what
that-
the
I did a
problems
study on
are.
paternity-
We as
I did a
men
study
should
on
be
paternity
educating
fraud.
each other and saying,
There's a
hey,
lot of
this
men
is
who
what's
are
in the
in
law in
court over
California.
paternity
This is
fraud.
what's in the law in New York, Mississippi. This is how you can
New
fight
Jersey,
this.
you gotta have
That's
a
how we
paternity-
help
you gotta-
each other
you gotta
as
have a
men,
paternity
not just
test
to
when the
continue to
kids are
talk
born in
about
New
what the
Jersey.
problems are. We know what the problems are. We know that the child support family system is broken. So
Yeah,
how do we fix it?
I agree. I agree with you. That's information, man. I think one of the things we have to do is we have to find a way to get. I guess it would be smaller groups in every state, and so that we have these smaller groups in every state who can go out and explain, hey, here in Maryland, because I'm in Maryland. Here in Maryland, here in New York, here in Maine, here in Florida. These are the laws, and this is what you can do based on the countersuit legislation that you just explained to us. I agree with your information, man. I just think that a lot of these young guys or these fathers, they don't know that they can fight this, go in and actually fight this. I think that some guys are aware, but then we have to start talking about money and attorneys and court fees and all of that, right? There's a lot of things that come along with it. But I do agree with the information, man. The number one thing we need to get is we need to get the knowledge out there that, hey, you should be countersuing these women who are lying on you.
I agree.
Listen, in every state, regardless if you are in this situation, and what information man is saying is spot on as far as you can place a countersuit on the woman specifically, not the courts, the woman. That's where you can, work it in your favor. And if you don't have the money, you can request a waiver of fees to plead your case in front of the judge. It's not about if you have the money, they're not going to look at your income. It's always request a waiver of fees. More than likely, 9 times out of 10, you'll get it. You'll present your case to the judge with the evidence. I don't know if you'll do arbitration, but every state is similar in some laws and it's different in some laws, just depending on your state. Go to the law library in your state. They would definitely be willing to help you figure those things out. So, but if you don't ever ask the question or follow up, you'll never know.
One of the most popular shows on TV is Paternity Fraud. Right? Everybody might not watching it, but it's not like people don't know this, man. Guys are getting jammed up over this thing. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but with this whole thing about everybody and all that kind of stuff, I mean, you know what? Some people fight, some people don't. But we know about paternity fraud. We could keep saying that, hey, you could fight it, you don't have to accept it. Some of these guys just don't care. But my point is it's all good, but it's not like these guys are getting justice. It's not like people aren't fighting. There's a brother in Michigan who was going to jail over that. I mean, he's pretty popular, man. It's a regular story about paternity fraud. There's guys fighting it all over the place. It's not like this is something new.
Hey, you know what I really think it is? I think most men don't know the goddamn rights. Me and Paul were actually
not just about paternity, about anything. But we could say that, But my point is, it's not like some guys just sign a damn certificate without even worrying about it. Especially husbands in New Jersey, you got to have a paternity test before you sign a birth certificate, even when you're married. So it's different.
Well, wouldn't that be to the point that they don't know their rights? If they're signing it blindly, couldn't I
hear you, but yeah. So we educate people to do that, but a lot of guys, hey, if you're married, you're kind of stupid if you don't do it. But in every place is not necessary. And back in my day, they didn't even ask us to do it.
Let me ask you a question. Hold on a second, fellas. Let me ask you a question. I think a bigger issue is, say for instance, these guys do win their case. The collection of the fees is probably going to be the problem. And my whole thing is this: is the state willing to put women in jail to the tune of how they put men in jail? I would argue that the system is not set up to house all these women going to jail. So that's probably the reason why they overlook, the women's side of the issue when it comes to serving justice and holding them accountable, because they simply have no interest in putting these women in jail because they don't have anywhere to put them.
But translation, let me say this to you.
There's a presumption of paternity. If you're married to a woman, that's like I said before. If you're married to a woman and you separate and she gets pregnant by somebody else, there's a general law almost in every state where there's a presumption of paternity. And you can fight it if you want to. It's not, and you should, but it ain't that easy to get this shit overturned. And when you start talking about court fees, they ain't waiving a goddamn thing, man. You're gonna have to pay. You're gonna have to pay. I mean, stop.
Yeah, okay,
Trey, you think you're gonna go into court and they're gonna say, "Yo, poor Mr. Man, we'll help you out"? Where's the safety?
You do before you go to court, and I've actually had to do it a couple of times. When I wanted to file a case, I asked and requested a waiver of my fees, and it was granted on the spot. without question.
For what? For what? For what? What kind of case?
It was for someone was accusing me of something and they were lying. So and that was great, you know. So, but yeah, listen. Without asking, you will never know, and that's the problem.
I agree with that.
If you choose not to do it, do not cry about the outcome when it's all said and done. This is a time you must follow up with the information that is given to ensure.
Right. So, we on the paternity thing again, but like this whole thing about the blackity black shit that we started with, I'm still saying that. Listen, that when he first came up here, he was saying we got to unify. That shit's dead, man. It's not gonna fucking happen. We have to sit down and make coalition with rest of Americans to get laws changed.
Right.
We can't just sit down here and say we gotta all be black and we all gotta fucking
that's not what I'm
stand in
saying,
line.
Arpain.
That's just not gonna happen.
Arpain,
I've been alive for 100 fucking years. It's not. It didn't happen then. It's not gonna happen now.
I just wanted to say this, Arpain.
We are wasting goddamn time being all with victims. We gotta be black.
I didn't say anything
got
about being a victim, brother.
Business, so
I didn't say
just
anything.
black people support me.
I'm
and
not
shit.
saying that. I think
What
historic.
are you saying, then?
Well, let me finish. If you look at the historical record, black people have always look, man. History has shown it. Black people have always been open to working with other people of other races. We got people that live in our communities that are of other races that we have accepted in our community. So it's not that we can't unify with other people, but part of our problem, this ain't about a blackity black thing. Part of our problem is we also, in some cases, are not very well unified amongst ourselves.
So
when you look at the civil rights, let me just say this.
Are we going to still all vote for Democrats?
Are
we going to still all vote for Democrats?
I'm not even talking about political stuff right now, Arpain. When you look at the civil rights movement, the civil rights movement was integrated with Jewish people and other.
No. We're unified and voting for Democrats. Where that has
I'm not talking about that.
No, I know you talking about
I'm not talking about. Why don't you relax, man?
What has gotten
what you screaming? What you getting all emotional about, man?
Black people vote for Democrats.
Emotional about.
Where has it
I'm
gotten
not talking about the Democrats right now.
No, fuck that,
I
man.
already know what the Democrats are about, man. I already know that. I know the 95%. Man, I did shows about the Democrats. I know the Democrats ain't shit, man.
Democrats. What has it gotten us?
I've been
95%.
I've been talking about
that's unity, right? You talking about unity? That's 95%.
I've been talking about the Democrats on my channel, brother. I've been talking about the Democrats. I've been talking about the Democrats. I've been talking about Biden. I understand what the Democrats have done to black people.
95% of
I already
us
know
vote
that,
for
but that's
Democrats.
not even what I was talking about.
95% of us vote for the. Where has it gotten?
I already know that, brother. I know the numbers very well.
So tell me where
I probably know the numbers better than you. I don't need you to recite numbers to me about the Democrat. I know about the Democratic Party. I know how black women vote for them. I know how black men have voted for them. I understand how the Democratic Party. I understand the Dixiecrats, all that kind of stuff, brother. But I wasn't coming on here to talk about the Democrats. I'm not
talking about the Democrats. I'm talking about the unity you're talking about.
The unity that I was talking about. The unity that I'm talking about. Well, you didn't want to listen. So I wanted to ask Lost Translation Podcast a question, because I don't want to go back and forth with you because you misunderstood where I was coming from. And because you're getting all hot-headed, it's like wasting my time to go back and forth with you. So let's get back to the topic about the child support stuff. Translation, I wanted to ask you a question in particular. I think the reason why you don't see more women being arrested, I got to be honest with you, brother, is because men haven't tested the system in large numbers. That goes back to my original premise that if more of us were more involved in countersuing the women,
just black
using
men
things
or
that's in the
all
law,
men? Just
right?
black men or all
you
men?
might see that because
Just
there is an
black men or
increase.
all men? Answer that
there
question.
are an increase.
Just black men or all men?
I would like to finish my point so
answer
I can
that
get to
question
thoughts
before you
of
move
loss
on
of
to the-
translation and other
just
people.
black men
I'm
or
not
all
gonna.
men?
I'm not gonna go back and forth with
No,
you.
no.
Arpain.
Just
No,
answer
I'm
the
not.
question.
It's.
Are you
I'm not.
talking about just
I tried to
Arpain,
tell
watch your
you,
blood
but you want to
pressure.
scream and yell at me,
all men?
and I don't have time for it
No,
because you're screaming
but
and
you ain't
yelling.
answering no questions. Just black men
Anyway.
or all men?
You misunderstood where
black
I was
men or
coming
all
from.
men?
So therefore, because we maybe disagree or we can agree to disagree,
black men
or we
or
might have two
all
different
men?
points of views, there's no
You
sense
ain't
in me
answering
going
the
back and
question.
forth with you over
Just
that issue.
black men have to fight the system or all men? in America? Do just black men have to fight the system, or all of us?
Okay, R. Payne, I have been documented as saying on this channel, on Black Men Unfiltered's channel, many months ago, maybe last year, I was on this panel and I said men have to come together. That's all men of all races to fight against the system. But R. Payne, why you making all those little looks on your face? When I said that, I got pushback on this channel.
Not for me.
I'm not talking about you. Listen, we got 2 ears, we got 1 mouth. Listen to what I'm saying. Last year on this channel, I brought that up. Y'all know I did. And I'm not saying all of y'all gave me pushback, but there were some people on the panel when I made the declaration that we need to come together and unify and petition these politicians like women do and get up in their asses to change the law. I had people up here that gave me pushback. So when you say that I'm not about men working together, no. I think what it is it's a misunderstanding. It's a misunderstanding. I'm not saying that men shouldn't unify with other men of other races to fight for our problems. I think what I was thinking about in terms of the issues that black people as singular issues that we need to fight for is something that we need to unify to fight for our singular issues. But when it comes to this issue around child support and what women are doing to men overall, yes, we need to unify as men to fight and change the legislation. You got a lot of simps in government that are writing these laws that's screwing us over. That's another problem. But translation, that's all I was trying to say, brother, is that there is an increase of women going to prison. Their numbers are increasing, but I don't think men are testing the system enough to send their ass to jail when they lie to you. Because if you got the law behind you, you can put the ass in jail.
Let me ask you a question, information man. When a woman wants to put a man in jail for back child support, she really doesn't have to do anything but file a petition for the court.
Yes.
How come it's not even that easy for the other way around? It's like the guy has to pay twice to get his freedom.
Right.
So
There is an answer to that.
way? Why is it that way?
I'm just going to say, I got to be honest. It is completely wrong. It is completely unfair. I don't have a complete answer to that, but I do think that our society sees women as the weaker sex. Women are seen as the victims and men are seen as predators. So they look at us as predators and therefore they rake us over the coals, make us pay more because women are seen as dependents like children.
There's
an
an
answer
answer
to
to
the
this.
best answer that I can give, but I'm just giving you off the top of the dome what may be going on amongst many other things that I haven't probably even imagined or touched on.
You know, I'm going to ask
this is the
Mr.
answer.
Bennett. I'm going to ask Mr. Bennett a question. Hey, can I give me a second? Mr. Bennett, let me ask you a question. Information man said that most men are looked at as monsters.
Mr. Bennett in the middle.
Yeah, what can we do as men to change the narrative of men being viewed as monsters? What can we do personally as men to change that narrative?
Well, I think it has to start with us in terms of how we treat one another. We can just start there. When brothers are talking about either their shared or lived experience, treat it seriously, and not be so threatened by an opposing point of view or someone who comes from a different experience than you. Let's because the problem with the men's movement overall, I mean, to information's point before, I read up on the early manosphere stuff. I read up on men's movements for fraternity rights. This stuff started in the 60s and the 70s. And every time they've tried to assemble some sort of unified ticket, there was some sort of internal strife or beef between leadership. There were egos involved that just destroyed those organizations. Right. And so, the fact that men are always competing to have the top idea, we don't think in terms of political terms. I mean, I don't want to make this political, but I think that the unity that I think Information Man was talking about, it is exercised by these groups, and it doesn't mean that they agree on everything, but they know when it's time to go into the booth, they know to, cast that vote. I think there's a lot of Republicans, just to use an example, hate 44 or 45, hate them, but rest assured, they're going to go in there and vote for them. So it's not about us being all in square, that we don't have these different ideologies of how to get things done. But those folks generally get in line when it's time to vote. So again, have the conversation, have the the disputes and everything, but there needs to be some form of a unified block when you make your voice heard, certainly through your vote and through your advocacy and through your donations to different groups and different people. But what's wrecked every men's movement that's ever happened is that the men can't hold it together for more than 10 minutes because someone needs to be in charge, someone needs to be the head, and somebody gets upset when they don't think that their idea is being heard. So until we get off of that trip, it's never going to come together. But you see, again, with Black women, I mean, we talk about Black women, but again, across different organizations, it could be AKAs and Deltas or whatnot. It doesn't matter. They have their different philosophies in terms of how stuff needs to be done, but they know how to get together on stuff that when they really want to push for it. We don't necessarily do that as men because everyone wants to be a chief and nobody just wants to be. Some guys just need to be a soldier and just get in line, but we just don't want to do that. And so again, I think everything that we've been talking about tonight, I think a lot of this stuff happens with us. Just to get back to the original point of the show,
right?
We were talking about holding Black women accountable. But I find it interesting that we talk about that, but in the same space, a lot of brothers, for example, hate cancel culture. And I just think that's counterproductive because cancel culture can be a very effective tool when you want to make your voice heard or to try to hold, people accountable, certainly through your dollars and through your subscription and your followings or whatnot. But guys hate that, just, hate cancel culture with a passion. But how else are you going to hold a lot of these women to account or responsibility? Why not use that tool just as been done in other groups and campaigns to hold companies and other individuals accountable? But we don't, so I think there's a disconnect there as well, as far as how we.
What you just said, stay right there. So
Yeah.
when you're talking about that, because that's very interesting that you said that. So would you propose that we would take that whole concept of cancel culture and we would have it instead of, because what they do with cancel culture for is more evil than for good. It's like the things that people talk about that should be talked about. This is where they have cancel culture. And I'm gonna tell you, I love the concept that you came out with. I just hate the way that cancel culture is. It's for the weak. The weak people are the ones that gravitates to it. So if you're saying,
listen, the bus boycott that Martin Luther King talked about, that was cancel culture.
I'm saying, so what you're saying, because that's what I said. That's why I said it was interesting. So the people that's on the other side of that whole thing should take the whole cancel culture and make it a cancel culture when it comes down to things that actually we thrive for, right?
It is
when
a tool, like anything else. It is a tool.
Politics,
it's been misused,
when it comes down to commerce, when it comes down to all
levels,
these different things, we should take that concept and we should
Yes.
say, no, don't try to be on the opposite side of it. Actually embrace it. Use it for your own. Use it for your.
Well,
Damn, that does
give some
matter.
examples instead of just saying it. What examples? Give some examples. You know what I think cancel culture would be? If we stop voting for Democrats, that's an example.
That's an
right.
example. I'm saying, but this is what's so beautiful.
Give me an example.
Right, but this is what I'm saying. You got to remember, man. We on here and we're talking and we're having ideals, and this is why it kind of we fuck ourselves up when we get pretentious with each other, right?
Okay,
the concept.
I just want an example.
No, I get it. I'm not saying that what you're saying is wrong. I'm saying that when you brought that up, we should talk about it. The examples, right? I'm not opposed to that. I don't get agitated when you say give me an example. Of course,
Mr. Bennett. I'm asking. I should have said, Mr. Bennett, give me an example. I mean,
put our pain back in the goddamn box. Translation.
I'm just
before you go. One thing we have to address. We have to address who has dogs in the fight.
Yes,
I'm getting irritated with hearing people who have no dog in the fight speak the most about it. If you're not having no kids no time soon, child support is not really your issue. You don't have a dog in the fight.
That's not true.
Right.
Yeah, that's not true. If you have children, it's not true. I mean, we're not just talking about
Our
kids,
pain,
right?
you specifically have no dog in this fight.
No, but we ain't talking about just
And
kids.
you've
We're
been
talking
running your
about cancel
fucking mouth
culture
all
now.
night about child support, and you have no dog in this fight.
That's not true. That's not true.
So you have young kids under the
No,
under
that's
18
not,
that you're
that's
paying
not
child support
true.
to?
It's not true. We all have a dog in the fight.
No. We're not doing that. You're not about to say. You're not about to paint a broad.
No, but we ain't just talking about.
You yourself have no
you ain't just
dog in this
talking about. We're talking about the system and. Listen,
Well, y'all give
the
our
system
pain
that
hell
doesn't
today,
affect
man.
Yeah, we're talking about
I
the
just
system.
know I
It
got a
doesn't
dog in the
affect
fight
you.
translation.
No, it does affect me.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
So you paying child support right now?
Not anymore.
I know my ass is.
So we
I
ain't
feel
just,
like
we
I'm
talking
talking to a
about
child.
laws.
You
I mean, we're talking
have
about
no
laws.
dog
Listen,
in
if I
this
have
fight.
to interface with people,
You're not
that
getting your
it's-
money back,
listen,
champ.
We're on
It's over.
this
It's done.
panel, and we're not just talking about child support. We're talking about all the laws that impact.
The point I was making is that okay, fine, then fight the
And then
laws
I
you have
asked
it.
him
Then
for an
fight the laws
example,
that
and
fight
then
the
you
laws that
jumped
affect
in
you.
a cancel culture.
That fight
Right?
the laws that
I said,
affect
what's
you.
an example of cancel culture? That's what I'm saying.
Our pain. I can give you an example. Propaganda.
That's what I'm saying.
I'll
Yeah,
give you an example.
yeah,
I'll
give
give you
me
an
an
example.
You have the
Propaganda.
most to say, but none of this shit
No,
affects
I
you.
don't have the most to say. You guys,
You know what I want? I want for
What you-
I've said this before. I want you old motherfuckers to shut the fuck up from time to time
No,
and
you
realize
shut the fuck up
realize
and
when you're
listen a
out
little
of place.
bit. What are you
You're out of
talking
place
about? We on the
sometimes. That's my
panel.
issue with y'all. You're out of place.
Yeah,
This
man,
this
but
ain't your
what you
fight.
was
This one ain't
stupid.
yours.
Information man read the
What
legislature.
you're
saying is
verbatim, and you
everybody
just
older than a
interrupted
certain
them about
age should just go fucking in the corner and die.
On this particular
shut the
subject,
fuck
yes.
up, man. That's
Yes,
stupid.
on this particular subject, yes.
No,
You
it's-
should.
Listen, this
The
was
problem
a
is
broad
the
amount
problem
of
is you think
subject.
that because you're older, you should be able to speak on everything, and you're wrong.
No, I can speak, and I can speak on everything.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
This is why we have the problems we have, because older dudes like you will not shut the fuck up
No,
when it
no,
doesn't pertain to you.
I'm not gonna shut the fuck up, Trey.
Exactly.
I'm not.
So stop.
And
So
you know why I'm
fellas
not
on
gonna
the
shut
panel,
the fuck up?
fellas on
Because
the panel,
you don't shut
fellas
the
on the
fuck
panel,
up on things that
stop
don't have to
asking
do
for
with
black
you.
men to work together, because we can't even get men to understand when they're in the fight and when they're not in the fight.
No, but
We
you
can't even get them to
gonna
understand that.
determine who's in the fight and who's not in the fight.
It's simple common sense. You're not paying
no,
child support.
listen. Well, what the fuck? You ain't married. You don't have no goddamn kids.
But I pay child
You got
support.
a young kid, just
But I
like
pay
I
child
do.
support.
But you ain't talking about.
I have
no
a dog
fucking-
in the fight.
Hey, listen, man. You paying child support, man. You might as well be married to the chick, man. You ain't paying some
Okay,
absorbent
first
fucking
of all,
child
motherfucking,
support
I
that
mean
you
this.
arguing
I mean
about.
this. Don't make this shit fucking personal, because you
I'm
think
not,
this
but
fucking
you
computer.
just
No,
made
no,
it
fuck you,
personal.
you motherfucker. Don't you think that
You
this
just
fucking
made it
computer
personal.
will save
But
your
you can't
fucking
tell
ass? Because
somebody-
I am the type to
you
pull
can't-
up on you. I
Shame.
swear to God, I will. Watch your fucking mouth.
What
You
you
old
talking
motherfuckers
about?
do this shit all the time. Watch your fucking mouth.
Watch my
I
fucking
mean
mouth
that
about
shit,
what?
R-Pain. You don't
No,
have a dog in this fight.
You
And this
came
is
out.
why
You the
this is
one who
why
came in
guys
the
like me
fucking middle
will
and
never
started
listen
talking
to you
all this
silly
bullshit,
motherfuckers.
man.
Because you don't know when to shut the fuck up.
Well, neither do you,
Shut your old
motherfucker.
ass up.
You shut the fuck up.
All right, y'all.
Not listening to y'all. This is why we won't listen to y'all.
You
have
don't
no
listen
dog
to
in this fight.
nobody anyway,
Information man
Trey.
read you the
You don't listen to
legislation
anybody
verbatim,
anyway.
and you fought him about it. He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
I didn't say he was wrong.
Then shut the fuck up. You don't have to
Wow.
say anything.
Wow.
Learn. This is my issue. Learn when this involves you and when it doesn't involve you. That's how you help this.
Yo, Trey, you know what? You can learn a little bit about what you're saying also. Because you say something about every fucking thing too.
If I have a dog in the fight, yes, I am.
Nah,
Yes, I am going to speak on it. I
All
am
right,
very
so
quiet
listen.
about things I did that do not involve me. Doesn't bother me. I got nothing on it. I don't say a word. But that man sat there and read you the legislation verbatim, and you want to argue with him about it. But then you want to talk about, oh, we got to work together. How the fuck we gonna do that? And you challenging the black and white.
We were talking about a lot of fucking issues, not just that one. You didn't start out like that.
Mr. Bennett, Mr. R. Payne,
You want me to go
was
first?
asking. Shit, man, I got to smooth this thing over, man.
But I think, I think what we just saw, I think that's part of the, again, part of the issue is people competing not only for ideas ideas and also position. I think certainly to Trey's point, I think certainly for older guys who may not have the a dog in a fight per se, but we can certainly support the guys who do. So if Information Man wants to have a show, or Trey, or him and Trey get together in this space, I mean, I think certainly this space, I mean, the format of a show is already out there from what I'm hearing. That you can actually have a show where you can go from state to state and talk about the laws, the paternity laws that affect men in that state, and the means by which they can go about getting their rights, or suing women for false paternities or whatever, and how they can move. We, the guys who may have the money, or we may have the connections or whatever to help boost their platform, so they can do the work that they need to do, because they're the ones who are closely in line with it. I mean, you can be a producer. You don't have to direct. You could be a producer or an executive producer, and let the creatives, those who are on the front lines, do what they do.
I agree. I agree.
You don't have to necessarily be on it. So to that point, I can certainly get with Trey on to say, yeah, I mean, you guys who are closely impacted, maybe we just need to ask the question: how can we help you? Rather than us necessarily having an counter, how can we help you get this message out, or do advocacy or whatever? I think that's how a lot of, even in political campaigns, that's how it works. Most of these guys in politics, you don't even see them. The donors, the donor class, you don't even know who these guys are, but they're giving hundreds of millions of dollars, and we don't even know who these people are. They move in silence. So maybe that's the role for us older guys, that we need to be in that position, rather than always need to put our opinion in terms of how things need to be done. Because most movements are young people's fights. Martin Luther King was 26 years old.
Yeah.
Malcolm was in his 30s. I mean, a lot of these movements, Jesus was 33. So all these guys were like young Gen X millennial guys who lead stuff. Maybe we just need to be the OGs that sit in the back and like, look, when you need something, I got you. And let these guys go out there. We're supposed to be in our golden years. We're supposed to be kind of,
But even to his point,
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Still, the whole point about cancel culture, right? What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
We got to stop. We got to stop dragging our fucking. This is the thing. We got to, because I wanted to say this. We got to to that point. We got to stop dragging our fucking feet, man. If we're talking about that, and specifically when we're talking about family court and with men, we've been dragging our fucking feet. Our generation and the generation before us, we seen that this shit was happening to us. I remember when just listen to me for a minute. Okay.
I'm not
I remember when I was going through the child support system myself, and the men before me were telling me to just acquiesce. They didn't have any fucking answers for me, right? So I understand the how Trey is coming across, because I was that angry dude. You motherfuckers telling me that all I need to do is acquiesce, and y'all see that I'm getting my ass handed to me. There was nothing that they could say to me, and that shit pissed me the fuck off. You know who actually helped me in these fucking, when I was going through what I was going through? Women, black and white. It was women that was helping me. We keep dragging our fucking feet. So when Mr. Bennett say cancel culture, take that fucking, what we learned from them, because I look at them as my enemy, right? But I would take what my enemy is doing, because guess what they do have? Some form of unity. We take it and we do it the right way, and quit dragging our fucking feet and being fucking scared. Most of us, when it comes down, that's why the younger generation look at our generation like, you motherfuckers are scared.
Well, JT, let me say something to what you just said. I think things are connected, right? Trey come down here and tell me I don't need to know what the fuck I'm talking about. Even if I don't have a dog in a fight, this is where I say I do. Because as long as we keep voting the same motherfuckers in office, none of this shit's going to change. None of it is going to change. As long as us as black people continue to fucking vote for the same goddamn legislation at the highest to the lowest levels, none of this shit's going to change. And so 95% of us vote against our best fucking interest. And that's why I do have a dog in the fight. And it goes all the way down to family court. It goes down to judges. It goes down to all of this shit. We don't fight for our freedom because we're being taken advantage of by the system. And as long as we continue in mass to vote the way we do, shit's never going to change.
How do we do that?
That's why I don't like nobody.
JT, he doesn't know how to do that
wanted
because
to
he
ask
hasn't been able
Arpain
to
this
do it in the
question.
last
This is not the
40
argument with
fucking
you.
years.
Hold on a second, gentlemen. Let me answer Arpain's question because I see a lot of people tap dancing around this man's question.
Well, I want
and nobody's giving him an answer. Wait, let me finish. To answer your question specifically, Arpain, you got to find out exactly what worked against us. It was propaganda.
Right.
It was the propaganda that moved the movement of the laws being changed in the favor of the women. So with that being said, if you pay attention to a lot what's going on, every time you look up, the women are always saying these guys need to shut up about these podcasts. Every time I look up, they own the podcast talking about us or whatever. That lets you know that they're listening. That is a part of propaganda to move it. And it's moving so much to the point where you got places like Tennessee and Florida that's doing something about it. Right. So with that being said, you start have one state to have the domino fall, and then another state to address the endless amount of alimony that's going on. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be being rewarded for being a wife and still getting payment from somebody when that man doesn't have access to the thing that he married you for. So in that case, people are starting to use common sense. Now, what happened is the propaganda is making men move differently. They stop taking women out on dates. They don't listen to nothing they have to say. These men are keeping their money in their pocket. They're not working no extra jobs. And as a result, they got to try to bring in more people to do what they have to do. The inflation is getting out of hand, all kind of stuff. So now we've actually pushed the government and made them do something about it. They're going to have to start addressing it because they can't pay out all this money on social services anymore because the money is not there. There is no return on investment. So to answer your question directly, keep doing what you're doing. It's the propaganda first, then the law second. And then after that, the change comes when women have to be held accountable for the things that they have to do because A, you've taken away the safety net. 2, you've actually put shame back into the game. Shame. You know what I'm saying? And say, hey, you can't be going around having all these unwed babies or whatever. You're going to have to get in line and get a husband, and you're going to have to be held accountable, or else we're not going to help you. You know what I mean? I'll give you an example. Back in the 1900s, when they had all these orphanages or whatever, it was a shame for a woman to have a baby out of wedlock, and they would have these people come around and say, hey, look, for 12 shillings, we take this baby off your hand. You know what I'm saying? And they would mess around and they would take these kids and put them in factories and work. Well, guess what? You can't do that anymore. You can't put children in factories and make them work anymore because there's a stigma to that. They got laws to that. So what they're doing now, they're saying, hey, look, we'll have abortions and you don't have to worry about that. You know what I mean? So now they get to the point where the states are saying, Roe v. Wade, the government is not going to pay for your little situation. You're going to have to find a state that's going to accommodate you. It's going to make a whole lot of women uncomfortable, and they're going to have to think about the decisions they make when they lay down to make these bad decisions. So like I said earlier, to answer your question, yes, propaganda is what you're going to have to do to move the needle to answer your question specifically.
Right. Let me follow up on that.
I want to follow up on
because
that
I'm trying to get directly to you. You were asking, what does cancel culture look like?
Right.
We've seen it in the past. What it looks like. It's economic. Again, the bus boycott itself, economic. We are not patronizing your business. So anywhere where we see performers, entertainers, whatever, we don't stop patronizing your product. So you hit their bottom line. Then there's, as Lost in Translation said, the propaganda place. Obviously, with that boycott came cameras in people's faces saying, well, why, what's going on? Why are you doing this? That is your opportunity to then voice your concern about why we are upset about what this company or this entity or this person, what they're doing to our children, what they're doing to our culture and our society. So the economic and the bully pulpit, the voice, the microphone, they go hand in hand. But this is what happened with Bud. When Bud came out with their campaign, and people just said, "Look, I'm not buying Bud anymore." Their sales dropped like 25%.
Gillette. Remember that Super Bowl ad with Gillette?
That speaks. Yeah, so again, but that's always been how this thing works. It's advocacy, but it's also your dollars. I mean, Color Purple just came out. It was $100 million movie to make. They only made $60 million.
Right.
Because I think a lot of men spoke silently and says, "I'm not seeing that." And if you have any authority over your wife or your kids, guess what? You're not seeing that movie either. So for a lot of us, we spoke silently. But again, where was the coverage of men in mass protesting, saying we are not seeing The Color Purple because we do not support our image being affected?
Right here.
Right here. But I'm just saying you didn't see it, but you didn't see it in mass. But again, cancel culture, when it works best as a tool, it works in mass. And obviously we have these platforms that we can use to help get the messages out, but that's where I think the collective needs to come in. If you talk about men's rights advocacy, whatnot, again, we got to bind the bickering over what needs to be, how we need to do it. The common problem is men are being treated unfairly in the system, but nobody can hold a coalition together for more than a year or two because people get upset over who's in charge or who wants to be in the front or whatever. And like I said, for a lot of us older guys, we just need to learn how to be an executive producer and sit in the back. Find somebody we can rock with, and we just ride with them. But they got to be the ones who are going to be out there taking the slings and arrows. These billionaire guys on both sides, whether you're Democrat, Republican, whatever, these guys just sit in the back, and they're like the pawn. So it's not even about politics. It's about corporations, and it's about these these guys with the money who want certain initiatives done. I think we put even too much emphasis on the parties. It's not the parties, it's the money behind the parties that's really driving this, even when they both have the same issue. It's the same issue, but they play this game with it. Okay, we're going to get these two sides fighting against each other. But at the end of the day, as long as their money's good, it don't matter who's in office. So we also need to, have an understanding how this game is played.
You had me all the way up there because it does matter who's in office. But I hear what you're saying. But in mass, I mean, we got a macro issue and we got a micro issue. So on the micro issue, yeah, some people on specific issues, yeah, you could talk about it. On the macro issue, I just think that nobody should be silent. Right? So it just depends on what angle you're coming from. So if we're on these panels, don't invite people. Just don't invite people on the panel if you don't want them to say anything. And I don't agree with nobody threatening me or none of that shit. I'll never fucking back down to that. So the point is, listen, on the issue of where I'm saying is, I think the way we vote is one of our biggest fucking issues because it's a mindset. On all this stuff with the Color Purple and all this other kind of stuff, that was one of the victories for Black men. Right, because we just didn't go to the movie. We didn't even have to have a bully pulpit, but we did hear enough Black men come out and say, "I'm not supporting that shit." So, right, I know I did. Right, I even wrote something about it. So the fact is that I'm on my thing is I think everything that our plight in this country right now, from when I was a little kid till now, has to do with the way we fucking vote. And you guys don't have to agree with that. I don't care. All I know is that if we still keep giving 95% of our vote to one party and we could put fucking people like Fannie Willis up there and Mayor Brandon Johnson and fucking Eric Adams, and we vote because people are Black, we're never going to get anywhere. Never. Because and I'm gonna land it there. So just take me out of the goddamn fucking middle, man. Please.
I think politics is in everything, so we definitely have to lobby, we have to fight politically for what is due us, because that's what women have done for decades. But Art Payne, I wanted to say something that you just said earlier, which is, look at what happened to Color Purple. Because men didn't support it, right, and we just simply took our dollars away from it, the movie didn't do well at the box office and it sort of failed. You know why? it wasn't politics that did that for us. It wasn't who's the damn Democrat and who's the damn Republican that did that. It was, let me just say this, man, because it's the truth. It was just men, everyday black men who either vote and don't vote, who just said, I'm not putting my money in that. So therefore, what Mr. Bennett said is actually, I'm not disagreeing with you that politics isn't important, but I think the dollars is more important because he's exactly right. Both the Democratic Party and Republicans, they don't give a damn. They play both sides of the game. They're the ego of the same bird. They're just about their money. It's the corporations that play us. Why do you think women get everything catered to them as well? Is because who advertises to women more than anything in this world? Advertisers are making money because all their products are promoted towards women's needs and issues and health and clothing. That's what's working for them, economics. So if we say as black men, for example, I think Jason Black talked about this on his other channel the other night. Do you know that Valentine's Day this year was an epic failure?
It sure was.
Because men, I'm talking logic here now.
Come on,
men
have
decided to bow out of this ritual called Valentine's, and as a result, it's going down. If you look at, and Jason Black showed this, if you look at the trend of where Valentine's was just a few years ago to where it is now, it's not even trending on Google Trends. Because men, we control these mechanisms. If we decide, fuck it, I'm not going out buying no flowers, no candy, fuck it, I'm not going to participate. Now, those in Trey's generation, Z and millennials, they have learned our failures and how we have also failed them, because they're saying, I'm not getting married. I'm not getting bamboozled. You see? So even though politics is important, there are things that we can do as a coalition to promote and support each other against this system. Now, you're right. You got to get the politicians in there to put the sort of legislation that you need to help you. But no matter whether we have a Democrat in office or we have Republicans in office, I just read you law. You still have the ability to countersue these women when they do you wrong. And you can do that no matter whether it's Buzz Bunny in the office, Reagan in the goddamn office, fucking Trump, or old Jim Crow Jim in the damn office. You can still use the laws that are on the book. And remember, Arpain, because you're right, brother. Remember, the most important government is your local government. All government is local. So now what are we doing to well, I know what you mean about the Democrats, but we need to be getting in the asses of our local government. And we should
I said it earlier.
We should be saying to them, if you don't vote the way we want you to vote in this issue as men, you're not getting my vote. You're not getting in office. And that's what we do, Arpain. So you know what I just did? I'm agreeing with what you're saying, but I'm also agreeing with other methodologies. We can chew gum, ride a damn bike, and a skateboard at the same damn time.
And listen to music.
You hear what I said?
Hey, look, we got to get Igna in there. Hey, look, information, man. And this is the thing, because what you guys have said, actually, it was very powerful. All of it, everybody. Because the thing is that we have to be able to have these conversations with each other, bro, so people really will pay attention to what the fuck we're talking about. That was what I said earlier when it comes down to it. It's always about the next generation to me, right? It's always about the next generation. But if they hear us speaking the way that we're speaking, man, we got to work this shit out and figure this shit out as we're speaking to each other. That's the only thing that I'm saying. So whether we agree with each other or not, we got to kind of like tone down the pretentiousness when it comes down to us talking to one another. We just got different ideals. Go ahead, Ikene, man, rock out.
You're on mute.
I'm glad you said that, because that's what I was going to say. That's what you said in conclusion, because the thing about it is this, right? When we have serious conversations like this, you got to set our egos aside, because what we're discussing is a very extremely important stuff. I'm in the service industry because I have a transportation business. I got to tell you, this is one of the worst Valentine season I've ever seen. All the restaurants that I know that's supposed to, holla, none of that. They don't really have. They didn't really have patrons this season. In fact, when I went to buy my wife a flower, right, at the 1-800 flower store here in Dallas, they have flowers everywhere. Normally, when last year when I went there, man, the flowers were gone by 5:30 in the evening. I went today, there were a lot of flowers hanging there, man. I was shocked. Like if you go to Walmart, when you go to Walmart, you look at that shelf that holds those Wellington stuff, man, it's like nothing sold at all. Kroger flowers are everywhere. Normally, these things are sold in the morning. They all sold out in the morning. The thing is this, right? Men for the past 80 years have lost their damn mind and also lost their damn powers. But they're getting it back. They're really getting it back. It's coming back because we decide the outcome of everything. We are the men. We have the money. We decide. But like I said earlier, when we're not talking, our women are not going to act. When we draw the line, those women that didn't want to say something because they're scared of repercussion will start saying something because they need men to back them up. They're not going to put their head on the line, put their family on the line, put their job on the line. They're not going to do that. But if men start saying something just like we're saying now those women are going to come out and then start speaking out. So I got to say this, right? And the problem with the Black community, especially the Black men, I'm also part of the problem. We don't donate to political campaign. We don't form a lobby group. We don't form super PAC. We have to start doing that. You cannot change Congress. You cannot change anything without you first having a super PAC. Without you having a political group where you donate money, where you put that money, and those people will go and do those things for you. Women have those things. They have it. All these women have it. And what do they call it? The feminist people have been doing it for 140 years. They have this strong political campaign behind them. Parenthood had it for more than 80 years now. They had all these political people. The Jewish community have had it for 100 and something years. The reason why when we talk, nobody listens is because we don't have super PAC. Black leaders are celebrities. One thing we know about celebrities is that they will do anything for clout. But if we start having manufacturing, if we start having production, if we start having industries, right? Then people are going to start listening to us. Which Black community has a military industry? None. No Black person has a military industry. I was discussing with an NFL player the other time when I was taking him to the airport when they called my company. I was taking this guy to the airport. He told me, hey, Ekene, you can't get Black man to own an NFL team. Even the NBA is difficult, but NFL, all these white guys will make sure there is no Black person that owns an NFL. That's to tell you that there is a huge force behind the people that pull us down because they don't want us up there. But when we are united, if we are united, nobody can stop us. So let's start talking. Let's start marching and let's start donating. Let's form a political group. Let's form a super PAC. That's what we need to do.
Dope. Real dope.
You know, to speak more about what Ekene said.
We got you, Ferg.
Yeah, we got you. Ferg. I ain't gonna take but 2 seconds, Ferg. He's correct because there have been in our city alone 12 restaurants to cut down. They're closed. Ain't nobody taking folks on dates no more. These people losing money, so they're taking their business elsewhere where they think it is, and they just don't know it's gonna be the same way you go else. So it's not gonna fix the problem. But like I said earlier, you spend your money or you keep your money. That's how you move stuff. Go ahead, Trey Ferg.
So to everybody that's heard our voices today, no matter what channel you follow, no matter where you live in the country, you have to act on the information that has been given. It's been a lot of jewels dropped tonight about how to move the needle in the area that you live in. Anytime you have an opportunity to speak to those in your community that are affected by the issues that we're facing, use that time to help come up with a solution. We all know the problems. We talk about the problems. Some of us live in it. We fucking take baths in the problems. Now is the time to move forward to the future because our generations of children and grandchildren, their lives are at stake. Now everybody claims somebody dropped the ball. Fucking, we gonna drop the ball if we don't start moving the needle. It don't matter how old they are, how young they are, we all are going to be affected. So if you heard these informations, start applying some of these things to your life, to the people that you can affect. And if you can influence a group of women, do that. But come with the information. If you can influence a group of young people, old people, church members, family members, do that. Bring them the information. Let them see it for themselves. Hold a damn Zoom meeting. Hold a damn YouTube meeting with them. But we have to get the information out. Once we get that information, we cannot stand still with it. We have to act on it. Those that went through the civil rights, they acted on that shit. Everybody walked in the street. It wasn't a matter if they was light-skinned, dark-skinned. They walked. They put the work in. We have to put the work in. That's the only way that we're going to change this dynamic. If you live in a fucking state and child support is whooping all y'all ass, take 500 of your brothers that you know or somebody's affected by it and show up at the damn courts and see if they don't come out and ask you some questions and then have a list of demands written down of what you need. Somebody's going to hear you and there's somebody that's going to start making it. And you have to stand on that all the way through until you can't just rally on, making a lot of noise, then everybody go back home. Now everybody in their own little circle. No, we have to continue to push this. Because us just talking, it ain't moving nothing. We got to act on it. And this is specific for those who's just now starting out. This is your greatest time to control your destiny. This is your greatest time, man. You have to act on it. Get people that look like you, talk like you. Somebody has to be willing to stand in the front. And it may take you a couple of months, a couple of years. But when it break through, your children are going to reap the benefits of it. Is all I'm saying. So, it's a lot of good stuff today. Y'all go help. As long as we get to the same end, then I don't give a damn what path you take. I'm going to make sure my path is secure on my end. You make sure yours is secure. And we can meet at the middle. But we have to just continue to work and move forward. That's all I got.
Appreciate it, Trey Ferg. JT, final thoughts?
Yeah. So I said it earlier. We have to kind of like build off of our history, right? We have to build off of this shit, man. And at the end of the day, we get older and then we die. So what do we do from birth to death? What do we do in between, right? We have to be out here to be able to contribute. That means everything. At the end of the day, ideals really, really work, bro. When you have ideals, you turn them into ideologies and you have people to gravitate to them. We are all connected to each other. The craziest part is that we have no idea on how easy it is for us to disconnect with one another. And the disconnection is not that we're actually cutting the cord, because that can never happen. It's just the fact that it's a mind thing. You know what I'm saying? It's more of what we're aware of. And a lot of people, they turn off their awareness when it comes down to dealing with other people. I just don't look at it that way. I don't think that we should disconnect with one another. Like, for instance, when it's something that I don't like that somebody said, you know, they always tell you, well, you can just turn the other way. You can cut the channel off, you know, do whatever it is. No, I choose to listen to what they're saying to understand where they're coming from. So if I do have something to rebuttal against what they're saying, I can actually have an intellectual conversation with them. It's going to be heated, but I don't have to have what they call them ad hominems. I just learned that word probably about 2 years ago. But you know, these be buzzwords in the YouTube streets and shit. We
JT,
not
I got
about
one
shit.
for you, man. I got another one to add to your collection. The term is called sophistry. Look that one up.
Damn it.
Look that one up. That's gonna help you out when you start battling in these YouTube streets. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah,
break that one
yeah,
out, then
yeah.
they're gonna be like, "Dang, this."
Look, I'm putting it on the list right now.
Pull it up. What does it say, man?
Anthem. I'm putting it right up under Anthem.
There you go.
Spell it right, because I'm not spelling it right.
Sophistry.
With a PH?
Yeah, SOPH.
Yeah.
ISTRY. Look that up and see what it says. That's gonna help you out, brother.
Yeah, the use of fallacious arguments, especially with the intention to deceive or of deceiving. Absolutely.
Correct.
Look, I'm putting all this shit. I'm telling
yeah.
you, this weekend, I'm about to fuck all my family up. When I talk to them, these are the words that I'm going to be using.
Hit them with
I'm gonna start doing what everybody do. I'm gonna start throwing these goddamn words out. No,
That's
but
right.
I do have a list of words, man, that I don't know, because this English language is a beautiful language, man. It's a bastardized language, but it's a beautiful language because we use it. You know what I'm saying? So I commend all you brothers for coming up with words that a lot of us don't use on everyday basis. I actually started laughing because I was looking at a podcast on This Might Be Risky sometime this week, and what's my man name? Blacks, very intelligent brother, man. They were talking about the military. Everybody that was in there. We were doing our show. Matter of fact, it was on Wednesday. It was when I was doing my show, but I watched it that Thursday, and he said a word that threw everybody for a curve. It was so funny, but this is where everybody's light bulb came up, because he said a word, and he does it a lot. Because I see him on what's the other brother's name? What's his name, man? Chaotic Truth. He's always on Chaotic Truth's channel. And man, he throws these words out, and it's not like he just learned them, right? This is shit that he uses every day.
He keep them in his back pocket.
Yeah, so I be writing this shit down, man. I be catching when I hear my brothers speaking, and when they put these words out, because I've learned from listening or reading a book to unlock all of the things that we've, been pretty much conditioned, right? And these words actually means really something to me when I actually get the definition, the origin of it, and all these different things. But it's pretty dope, man, to be able to have do they call it a what is it? It's not a dialect. Dialect is
vocabulary.
How you pronounce your word. Vocabulary, or it's another word that they use also. Vernacular, right? To build your vernacular. And this is one of the things that it makes me, because I don't give a damn. I'm gonna learn these goddamn words, and I'm gonna learn how to use them the right way. And I'm going on these panels. I'm gonna be eating their ass up with these damn words.
Because they use some of the same stuff we just talked about.
Absolutely.
That's why I gave you that word, because every time we had these conversations with people, they want to pull out these felonious statements and want to accuse people with these sly remarks. You know what I'm saying? Now you can hit them with them. You know what I'm saying?
Pissed off with, but they get pissed off when they get an information man come up there, or they have an RPan come up there, and would challenge their ideology, right?
Right.
This is why I respect, all of you guys pretty much. But information man, that's where I got a hell of a respect for you, bro, because I can challenge what it is that, I think I know when it comes down to me and you having conversation, it's the same thing with our pain. And this is what we have to start doing, man. And hopefully it's going to catch fire. I think it is catching fire where it gets down to our younger brothers that's going to be in our place at some point. But
Right.
as far as it comes down to the title, men are goofy and gay for holding women accountable. The title is so dope because, for one, you have a dope individual that brought the title up just to trigger people. You know what I'm saying? To get them to think, not to trigger them to make them mad and shit like that, but it's to trigger their sensibilities.
Right.
And at the end of the day, it's a quote that you hear a lot of women saying, but we have to have these conversations with one another in order for us, and not just for us. This is not for us. This is for what we consider our community.
Right.
This is why you would have brothers like myself who will say, no, we don't have a community. I'm not saying it because I don't believe we have a community. I say it so I can challenge what people think they know about what community is, so we can have that conversation.
Right.
So that was, I hate that I had to reveal that shit, but you know, it is what it
That's
is,
all
brother.
right, man. You can keep that in your back pocket. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with that.
It is what
Pain,
it is.
come on, man. Give us your final thoughts, brother.
Let me get up from mute. Hey, listen, I listen. As far as the title is concerned, I mean, you know, I hear about this. You know, we hold people accountable that we want to hold accountable, but like I said, like in my opening statement, I'm not worried about holding women outside of my orbit accountable. But I think the larger conversation we had is more important than that. You know, so as far as economics concerned, I understand that, you know, our economic dollar means a lot, means the most, right? Because that's what it's all about, right? People know when you hit them where the dollars are. And I think there's a collective change in men in general. Whether we say it on these podcasts, well, first of all, I think the podcast and this manosphere, whatever you want to call it, has helped inform men, if not consciously, subconsciously, that they need to move differently, the younger ones. I don't agree with anybody saying that, you know, I do agree with Mr. Bennett saying, yeah, there's some conversations that, you know, are best left to the younger folks if they have a more of a dog in the fight. But I don't agree that somebody could say you shouldn't say anything just because they don't like the sound of your voice. I don't agree with that shit at all. I'm never going to accept that shit. That means that no elder should ever fucking tell anybody anything from their own experiences because it doesn't count. I fucking disagree with that 100%. You know, so I'm never going to accept that from anybody. The other thing is that, and too bad Trey's not here so we could argue again about that shit. He's right and he's wrong at the same time. So I'm gonna leave that there. But as far as I'm concerned, I focus on the fact that we have, whether we're disunified or not, the one thing where we do have, I think, false unity is the way we vote. It's local level and above. There's still too many people going to the voting booth, local or not, and just go down one party line and not even think about the issues. I think that shit needs to stop. I think it really does. And based on a lot of Black folks who are in office now, they failed us. I mean, I can't somebody tell me what the Congressional Black Caucus has done for anybody. You know, and then all these politicians coming into the goddamn news, including Fannie Willis. You know, I mean, they're making us all look bad. Or the chick from Dalton, Illinois, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, and then the mayors, Black mayors and stuff, and all the problems that they're having. So, yeah, you know, that's just one aspect. I agree with that. But we still vote in unison for that. I mean, the only thing I think we have unity is that we vote for one way. Right? And I think that needs to change. Right? People need to vie for our vote. So it's economics and it's the way we vote at every level. I don't think we have enough conservatives in our party, whether they vote Republican or not. I think we should be more conservative than we are because liberalism has destroyed us. has destroyed us as a community. Everything goes and all that shit, and a lot of that has to do on the backs of the women because they act like a conduit for all the bullshit that's going on in our community. Alphabet community support, and all kinds of other stuff that's not good for us in general because they vote with their feelings, right? So I'm just saying, so we got a lot of problems, myriad of problems, and I'll just land it there, and maybe we could correct them. And I think subliminally some things are happening, and the reason why the dating stuff is different because men are tired of being taken advantage of
and taken for granted.
Right. But we're down to 30% marriage rate. So we need to find a way where people want to connect with each other. And I had something here on BMU's channel saying, man, maybe there's a way to go. That shit got shot down. So, I mean, I'm not saying it was a great idea, but, so we got to get used to, I don't want to say used to, but we shoot each other down with ideas all the goddamn time.
Well, we got more channels that we can have fantastic conversations on. So we did a few.
Anyway, listen, I'll land it there, man. It was a good show, man. Yeah, man. I'm too fucking old for my blood pressure to keep going up. You guys, you're supposed to have mercy on the old man.
Our pain on behalf of the fellas in the panel, we apologize for running your pressure up, sir.
Yeah. Anyway,
my bad. I'm used to
it's a good night.
Man, hope you feel better.
That's information's fault.
Let's go. Information, man. You got any final thoughts, sir?
I think it was a good discussion tonight, even if there were some disagreements. That's how you learn from disagreements. People have different perspectives and what have you. I think that men hold the key to changing the landscape. This is where I differ with our pain is I understand the issue around Democrat and Republican. I've got tons of content on my channel where I've examined the Democratic Party, things that they're doing that I disagree with. And I think we need balance. Black people, you're right. We're not monolithic. We don't all think alike. We have different political views and ideas, and we just have to take from those ideas and those issues and mesh them together what works for what's in our best interest, especially as men. And we need to, once again, recognize that government is local. But other than just government, there's things that we can do as a collective through our dollars and where we spend our money and what we promote and what we're willing to accept. I think if men put their feet down, as well as political issues, we can change a hell of a lot. And women will have to follow our lead when we lead by our example. And that example is basically just our actions.
Yes.
That's what I'm really trying to say. So I think that's where we need to be going. I think the younger generation is actually waking up to what many of us probably should have woke up to a long time ago. And that is they don't see the win-win game for them when it comes to marriage. It's, I think, how can I say this? We know that women operate off of this, what's this, hypergamy or whatever they call it.
Hypergamy. Yeah.
Why is it that we as men, why don't we operate off of that? Think about it. When women look at you, they're looking at you not only for your looks, but what else do you have? Your job, your car, your resources. Why don't we reverse engineer this shit? Why don't men operate on that when we deal with women? And if we did that, we could affect the bullshit that's been going on if we operate on value, more value. Meaning, no matter how big her booty is or how attractive she is, if she doesn't come with other intangibles, then we just can't have time for that woman. That woman's not getting married. We're not giving her our time and our energy because she doesn't deserve our time and energy. Like, Valentine's Day was yesterday. I wasn't giving anybody a box of candy or anything because I had to ask myself, if I give a young lady something, what did she do to earn that from me? Did she do anything for that? So I'm not going to just run out randomly and just start, So I think we got to move different as men to get the results that we want. And I'll land my plane there. And I applaud everybody to, do a good Google search and look at these different laws. Look at what men can do to protect themselves from being raked over the coals by this system, no matter who's in office. Thank you.
Appreciate the information, man.
Thank you, man.
Sir, do you have any last words?
You
Final thoughts?
goddamn know he do.
Come on, Ikene. Fire that
Let
thing
me,
up.
let me just say it before Ikene go, because Ikene, I'm saying he might put me to sleep. I ain't gonna lie. But listen, if you're a young man and you're looking for a change, no, listen. If you want these changes, young man, listen. Somebody, I'm asking anybody, put yourself in these positions to get elected in your local communities. So separating yourself and show yourself that you can be represented, and that is that's going to, especially as we see the dynamics changing in the United States, they're bringing in other individuals and they're not going to be aligned with us. But start putting yourselves in positions to be elected in these positions in your local community and build from there, because you'll have a greater effect. If you can be on those grounds, you'll be able to connect with your citizens in your neighborhoods or area where you live. But now is a great time, man, to start putting yourselves in those positions, and the dynamics will change. Maybe not for you, but for your children, because again, I say their lives are at stake. I'm too old for that shit, but I will support you.
Appreciate it, Trey. First, Ikene, you on deck, sir.
Man, I hope Trey is not going to.
I'm just playing with you.
I bet. How are you going to land me if I barely taken off? I haven't even taken off. You're trying to land me. Come on, man.
Crash your plane already, man.
Man, you got to try to crash my plane, man. Yeah. The thing is this, right? The thing is this, just like I've always said. I think I said that last year. We as men, just like every one of you have said, we owe the key to the society. We determine how things are done. If you have a family and you're quiet and you're not laying down the rules, everybody will come and do however they want. Your wife will misbehave, your daughters will misbehave, your sons will misbehave. But as soon as you holler and say, okay, stop this, I'm going to run this shit, everybody will rebel. They will rebel. You're not going to just get your authority back easily, because you know what? You screwed up at the beginning. You should have started a long time ago. They will rebel, but guess what? Hold your feet down the fire, because you're going to fix this shit. You're going to get it right. So I'm glad what black men are doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep hollering. Don't listen to the naysayers. Don't listen to what the politicians are saying. Because guess what? Politicians are prostitutes. That's what they are. Who owns the bag is who they're going to follow. And the bag means the vote. If you don't listen to the lobbyists, the corporation lobbyists, and you vote for the social lobbyists, which is what we need to form, guess what? When you start electing people to office, politicians are going to listen to you because they are prostitutes. They are only there for themselves. That's it. So play that card. They have the card, you play the card. You have the card as well. So what we got to do, we got to keep doing what we're doing. We got to vote, but we can't give one party our vote. No. Because guess what? White people vote like 50-50. Both parties. Jewish people vote 50-50. Hispanics vote about 45 to 55. We're the only people that vote 80% one party. We can't do that. Let's divide it in half. Let's have the swing vote, just like white women have swing vote this year, next year, white men have swing vote. Let's do the same thing. let's swing the vote. Because guess what? If we start swinging the vote, and one thing I got to tell you guys, because I think most of you have gotten it, African Americans cannot keep neglecting African votes, man. We got to all come together, man. As lazy as African Americans are, they don't want to reach out to Africans because they don't want to we all have ego, and Africans don't want to reach out to African Americans. At the end of the day, we all fail. We fell in this thing. You guys know this country. You guys understand the politics. You guys start calling us out on our bullshit. You see what I'm saying? If there is anything Africans are doing that you don't like, that is taking or siphoning votes or making the community look bad, call it out. But I got to tell you, Africans will ask you questions. Because remember that I told you guys one time, we all loved African Americans until we came here. We're like, what the hell?
That's fucked up. I don't even know how to take that. God damn. You like,
yeah.
It's kind of like
we
me.
love.
So it's kind of like when you meet your somebody that you seen as a actor or something like that, and then you meet him in person, you be like, this motherfucker's an asshole.
That's right.
You fucked up the goddamn. Yeah, I get what you said.
I killed the dream.
You killed the dream, man. So Africans are going to ask you that same question too. They're going to ask you the same thing because that's how they feel. You can't take away how a man feels.
Yeah.
You can deny it, but you can't take away observation. Just like sometimes when I stay with my wife and we talk and we argue over stuff, I tell her, hey, let me tell you something. You can deny as well how much you want to deny. You can try to change my mind, but what I observed is what I observed. You can't change my memory because it's registered. You feel me? So the thing about it is this: as a people, we all have to come together because the capacity of African American votes cannot make a huge dent. They're replacing Black people here with South America. And they're replacing it with a white South American, not the Black South American. It's the white one. So that tells you that they know what they're doing. And who is doing this is the Democrats, not the Republicans. So we can't let this happen, bro. Africans are going to coming here in huge numbers. There will come a time in this country, African people here will almost match African American numbers. Remember that Africans are 1.4 billion people in Africa. Just 5% of that can change a whole voting. It can improve African American votes here in America. And there is a reason why they don't give us visa. They don't want to give us visa. And then they come to Africa, they tell our leaders, don't allow them to have free visas all over the country. Because all over the continent. Because as soon as we have free visas all over the continent, guess what? It's economic progress. And then they will now be forced to give us free visa. And if they give us free visa or visa free ride, we're going to be coming here in huge number and going back to a huge number. So now we can go both sides of the continent and they will not like that shit. I'm telling you. But we got to take care of that. We got to take advantage of that. That's what I'm trying.
Appreciate it, Akane. You know what? I want to wrap this thing up, man. The bottom line is this. You can't hold other people accountable. The only person you can hold accountable is yourself. You know what I mean? Until the laws change and all this other stuff, you have to control yourself. Start vetting these women as if, hey, you know, will my kids be proud to have this woman as a mother? You know what I'm saying? If not, gentlemen, you have to let that go, man. You know, you have to start doing better vetting, start talking, having real conversations and ignore the distractions. You know what I mean? Making sure that you're going down the same path that you should go down, you know, because all the hindsight in the world, man, ain't going to save you. So the only way you're going to be able to take care of it is up front. And I always tell my guys all the time, manners maketh man. You know what I'm saying? There's only so much you can do on the back end. So my thing is just do the work on the front end so you don't have to do the work on the back end. And that's it for me today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for coming out. If you are new to the channel, please make sure that you subscribe, hit the Cash App, like, and also share Until then, guys, we'll see you guys on the next go round on next Friday. Stick around throughout the week. We have shows on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We got you covered from Sunday to Sunday. Go ahead, Ikene. You got one thing you want to say before we go?
Yeah, I have a show this Sunday at 7 p.m. So what I'm trying to do on my show is to bring African and African Americans together.
Right.
Because that's what I want to discuss. I want to discuss cultural exchange, business exchange, political exchange, getting the votes together.
Right.
So I want us to all come together, not to speak as language because we don't have the same language, but to speak as a color, as a race, because we're one race. There is nothing like African American or African or black. I don't believe in that. That divides us. All I know is one thing: Africa and diaspora. That's it. Africa and African diaspora. That's it. Because that will unite us. But when you say black and Africa, it's too much argument. Sometimes I don't even know if I'm black or African American. I don't know which one I am. All I know is I just change it.
I've heard
just change the goddamn senses.
But I've heard someone that had that same sentiment. I've heard someone speak about, the unity, and I just remembered someone, I can't remember who it was that said it, in order for Americans, blacks in America to be whole, is that we have to unite with our African brothers and sisters. So I remember somebody saying that'll be something very great for us to have a conversation on.
Right.
And is your channel Ikene? How do you pronounce your last name?
Igwenago, but is at Ekene. Is at Ekene Igwenago. I think it's 239. At Ekene, that's Ekene at Ekene Igwenago 239. Or you can just enter Ekene Igwenago like this. That's it.
Pull it up. Lady Navoy, if you got it, I know because she's kind of
put that in the chat. Right.
Yeah, you could definitely put it in the chat. Also, you had my man Arpain that has
a show on
marriage,
Monday,
politics, and sports on Monday. Hopefully, Arpain, we already discussed it before. Please put your name in front of marriage, politics, and sports, because people know you, man. You don't put a mark out here, so that's how people actually know who you are, brother, for real. Information Man, he has his channel out here, Information Man, and you can I'm gonna put his, because I have it on hand, his link. I just put it in the channel, but Information Man, if you want, you can also promote your channel also, brother.
All right, that's it.
Yeah.
And on that note, we're gonna be out. We're gonna leave y'all with Sweet Brother Rance before we leave out with the church.
Subscribe now.